Okay, here we go. Trash Talking Radio, Tuesday night. It's the best night of the week, and we're on the air. Now the question is, are we on the air everywhere so we're supposed to be on the air, or is it just an illusion? All right, here we go. Roll count. Facebook.
Here?
No,
Oh.
no, gotta look here and see if it is.
It is because I have it here.
Oh, I don't. So, la-di-da.
Well, you're late.
La-di-da. I forget how. See, this new one has me all confused as to how to get to my page. Okay, there we are. All right, so I got it. Now, let's see. Now I got to do this to see who's there.
Okay,
Well,
where's
that's
that
weird.
coming from?
Oh, I must have the sound up here. Okay, why didn't it? There we go. Now I got it. Okay, there we go. All right. And then we go to our account over at... Oh, whoa, that's not it. Okay. There we are. Okay, now on Twitter, let's see if that is all there. Where's that coming from?
Where's that coming from?
I don't know. Let's see, here we go. And nobody else hears that except us. So
That's good.
So it's our own private joke. Okay, so we're on Twitter, and we're on Periscope, and we're on, looks like we're on Twitch, and lastly, it looks like we're on YouTube.
Yay!
So all bases are covered.
For now.
We're ready to go. Full steam. We got a lot of show, a whole lot of show today. So let's start right away, shall we? Do we have
good.
anything? Do I have anything that I have to bring up?
No.
Okay. Then we will talk about all the people that have died.
Oh, we don't have to.
We do have to. Do you know who Olivia de Havilland is?
Wasn't she with Gone with the Wind?
Actually, you are right. You get a point for that. She was with Gone with the Wind. She is 104,
Wow.
and she just passed away. She was also, it says she came in prominence as one half of the screen couple in Errol Flynn in adventure films such as Captain Blood, The Adventures of Robin Hood in 1938. One of her best-known roles is Melanie Hamilton in Gone with the Wind in 1939, for which she received 5 Oscar nominations. The only one for supporting actress, best supporting actress. She has apparently been around for a long time, and I barely knew her name. But she obviously has done a lot of stuff, and she did it. 104. 104. I can't even imagine. But anyway, she has just passed away, and that is one that I have to say that's probably the oldest one that we have dealt with. Okay, why won't it do that? Huh. I don't know what happened here. It won't post it. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on, why it didn't post it. It should have posted it. Let's go into here and... Oh, there she is. Okay, it did post. For some reason, it didn't want to post, but it posted anyway. And, well, now okay, there we are. There we are. So if you were a fan of hers, it's information for you. A lot of people didn't know who she was because she's 104 and probably weren't around for her stuff. So that's the first one. The next one, oh boy, which one's the next one do I want to do? I'm going to do the next one, even though I probably shouldn't do the next one next. I'll do the next one. Regis Philbin.
He was a big wrestling fan.
He was. Yes, he was. He was at several WrestleManias. He died at 88 of natural causes, it says. Yeah, he. Everybody knows who Regis is. I mean, I don't know if there was any other person named Regis. So.
That's true. Well, there's a hair salon named Regis.
Yeah, but they probably named after him. It says here, Philbin was most popular host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, $1 Million Password, and was a judge on America's Got Talent the first season. He hosted a talk show live with Regis and Kathy Lee, and later live with Regis and Kelly. which he hosted for 28 years. 28 years!
Of course.
It's a long time. And then it says on December 31st, 2004, he filled in for Dick Clark on ABC's Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. You know who the host is now, though, right?
Isn't that Jimmy Fallon?
Of the Rockin' New Year's Eve?
No.
You weren't listening, were you?
I'm multitasking here.
So do you know who the...
No, I don't.
I can't think of his name.
See, you don't either.
That's Pretty Boy. He's
The Rock.
No,
Oh.
not that Pretty Boy. He's a pretty boy in a different way. He's not all muscles. I can't think of his name, though. Shoot. He's like hosting everything in the world now.
I'm multitasking.
I need to turn that off because that's driving me crazy.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, where is it? I'm going to turn this here. Okay, now it's off.
Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest, yes. He does everything now. So, yeah, he's been on several wrestling events, too. So, it's good to know he's a wrestling fan. Makes me feel closer to him because of that. And we'll talk more about wrestling in a minute.
Hi, Amy Sue.
She's early today.
Yeah.
Anderson Cooper, yeah. I don't think so. He may have been, I don't know, but Ryan Seacrest is who I was looking for. That was the correct answer for the trivia quiz that we just decided to have. Next one, Peter Green. I've been a Peter Green fan. Well, I should say, first off, do you know who Peter Green is?
Wasn't he the co-founder of Fleetwood Mac?
Yes, he was.
See, I remember what I sent you.
Oh, that's right. You sent it to me. That's right. Yeah. Mick Fleetwood pays touching tribute to the band co-founder after he peacefully dies in his sleep. I'm a big Fleetwood Mac fan, but yeah, let's see what this video is. I didn't really want to
Discover your pathway.
I
at
don't want to discover my
LCCTC.
pathway.
Earn your CDL
My
license in
pathway- my
5
pathway
short
doesn't
weeks.
care.
Companies are
Why
hiring
can't I
with
find
nearly
it?
100% job placement
Let me
rate.
skip the
Students
ad. Oh, I'll get in trouble because this is YouTube. That means it's
Oh, brother.
going to be a hassle. But this guy here he co-founded the band. And I liked a lot of the stuff he did. I think he was responsible for before the girls joined the band. They did a song called. They did a song that was remade.
Albatross, Black Magic Woman.
But yes.
Oh well.
No, the one Green Manalishi. Yeah.
Okay.
Green Manalishi they did, and it was redone by Judas Priest.
Okay.
And you would not have expected that from Fleetwood Mac. But the Fleetwood Mac version, I actually liked it a lot better than the Judas Priest version, and I liked the Judas Priest version. In fact, I used to do that song a long, long time ago when I was in various bands. But they did, I think he was the one responsible for that song.
See, I never heard of Judas Priest as a group until I met you.
In your shelter,
Because every time I heard the words Judas Priest, it was my dad yelling at me for something.
That was a strange thing.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that was a song that I used to really, really like. You're the green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown. Dun, 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 dun. All you're bringing me up is bringing me down. Dun, 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 dun. Well, that's the way Judas Priest did it. The way that they did it was just a lot slower and a lot more mystical. It was really a good song. So, when I found out that they did it first, I went out and found the song because it was just so cool. And I used to do that song just because it was cool. And everybody was doing the Judas Priest version, and I wouldn't do the Judas Priest version. I would do the Fleetwood Mac version. But that, like I said, that was before the girls. That's before Stevie Nicks and all that stuff. Also, John Saxon. Now, John Saxon is an interesting man because he was really primarily a big name when I was growing up, and in the 70s he was on like $6 Million Man. He was on like
He was on a lot of
a
things.
lot of stuff. He was really a very cool actor, and I always thought he was kind of a good looking guy too. And oops, that's the Peter Green one. Now,
He was also on in Enter the Dragon.
yes, that I was just going to say that. But he was really. I didn't realize he was that old, but I guess I should have realized it because if he was in 36, that would have been 40 when he was in the 70s. So that makes sense. But I somehow, for some reason, thought he was like
Oh, wow.
in his 20s. But yeah, he.
Some of these older shows, I knew he looked familiar when I first saw it, but I could never. The only character I could remember him from was, like you were saying, the $6 Million
Yeah.
Man. But looking at his Wikipedia,
He was in A Star Is Born.
Gunsmoke,
Oh yeah,
Bonanza,
yeah.
The Virginian, Ironside, and I used to watch all those
He
with
was
my
he
aunt.
was in a lot of things. He was like, when I'm looking at his movie stuff that he did.
Oh, he was even
was-
in The Bionic Woman,
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Wonder Woman.
But some of his things that he did, and his movie career was almost probably as busy as his other career because he was in a lot of stuff. Battle Beyond the Stars, Running Scared, Blood Beach, Wrong Is Right.
The A-Team.
He was probably in the A-Team too.
He was, according to this.
Yeah. So he definitely was in a few things. Beverly Hills Cop 3, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So he was in some pretty prominent movies too. And all the way up to 2015, he was in The Extra. He was Victor Valiant. And Old Dogs was a good movie. I like that movie. That was with John Travolta and a bunch of other guys that were pretty. They were old guys that were fathers, and they wanted to prove that they were still cool, and they got their motorcycles, and they were trying to be cool as old men. It was just funny. But he was in a lot of things. He was in a lot of movies. Wes Craven's Nightmare is a relatively popular one. Beverly Hills Cop 3 was a popular one. So he was in a lot of things besides he was in Another World, which, I look at his resume. He was working all the time. All the way up until, like I said, 2009 for the Werewolves. I'd never heard of that, but CSI, he was in your CSI thing.
Cool.
So, I liked him. He was a good guy. But Enter the Dragon, he was probably known for probably the more than other things that he was in, because he was, he played the martial artist Roper in 1973's Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee's first major role in a Hollywood feature, and so he had a long list of stuff. But anyway, that's him. And then there's now this is a less popular person, but we also see Joseph Costa. Now you don't know who he is, but he is a medical center ICU doctor.
Oh.
The only reason I bring it up is he died of the coronavirus, and he was out there fighting it, but he actually died of the virus. And that's a shame to see anyone who works in medical field trying to make sure everybody's okay to die of the virus. That kind of bummed me out a little bit. You never want to see anybody die, but someone that's actually out there fighting the virus, you want those people to live for a while. And let's see here. Here's another one. Annie Ross. Now she's a jazz icon. I never heard of her, to be honest with you, but
Is she related to Jim Ross?
I really doubt it.
Oh, okay.
She died at 89. The reason I bring her up is because she is someone that was a jazz singer, and she was a founding member of the historical vocal trio Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. She died on the 24th. The reason I bring it up is she is one of the people that she sang on this Little Rascals clip here, and she was. I want to bring. Okay, so this was from Little Rascals, and I know I'm going to get in trouble from YouTube on this, but this is her coming out. Not this. But I wonder where these guys are. Well, I guess they'd all be probably dead right around now, because she was 89. So. She does the singing next. Should have just left it at the spot that it was at. Here it is. That's her.
Oh, wow.
1938. Anyway, so it says here that she was born Annabelle Short in London in 1930. Her parents were Scottish, and they were vaudevillians. Her mother, she said, gave birth to her at a matinee.
Oh, gee.
Then did the evening performance. I was in a suitcase on the table in the dressing room, the singer explained. That was my cot. By the age of 3, Ross, one of 5 siblings, had joined her parents' touring show. Her aunt was a Broadway musical star, Ella Logan. In 1938, Logan planted a seed in Ross's head by giving her Ella Fitzgerald's new hit record, A Tisket, a Tasket. On a visit to New York to visit Logan, Ross entered a children's amateur contest. Wearing a kilt, she sang a jazzy Loche Le Monde and won. As her prize, she repeated her version of the song on an MGM film, short Our Gang Fall Out. So that's it, right here in this. So
Well, I did the cast of the Little Rascals. Where are they now? And I sent you the link.
oh, okay. Are any of them still alive?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised. Okay, and then the last one that I have is a friend of mine who just passed away today. Was it today or yesterday?
Today.
Today. He was known to the world, or to the world of wrestling, as Big Slam, and sometimes Big Slam Vader, sometimes,
Crybaby Waldo.
yeah, I don't have all the list of names he had, but he had a promotion called Big Slam Wrestling, or Slam Wrestling, I don't remember which
I think
one
it was Big Slam Wrestling.
But I worked for him a couple times, and I worked with him at other promotions like DWF and probably primarily DWF. I don't know if he worked any of the other ones that I worked in, but I know for sure that he worked in DWF because that's where I met him, and then he invited me to work on his promotion, which I did. In fact, the last time that I worked before I retired, not including the ones that I went back and did things in, but I worked his promotion, and I worked, I believe, with Sal Sincere. I can't remember for sure, but I think it was with Sal Sincere. And I remember that that promotion, because it was one of my last jobs, I went to catch somebody who was flying over the ring.
Whoops.
And when we caught him on the way down, I cracked my head on a chair. That was not planned. So just for people that are wondering, that was not planned. And that could have been the cause of my stroke that I had shortly thereafter, but it was for a Toys for Tots drive, and I left there shortly after that because I cracked my head, and I don't think I said goodbye. And he contacted me and said, "Hey, you left before I paid you," and I said, "That's cool. I don't it's okay. And he said, I'll make sure you get paid next time I see you. I never saw him again. So, and I probably wouldn't have taken it from him anyway because
Right.
I didn't need the money. I did it because I liked what I did. So, yeah, he was a good guy. He was scary if you didn't know him, but if you did know him, he was one of the nicest guys out there, and he was a stand-up guy. He's one of the few stand-up guys in the wrestling business, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I look at his page and all the people that have posted. There's just so many postings. There's not a bad
No,
word in there.
not at all. I mean, he was well loved. You know, everybody, I would say, in the wrestling. I mean, we've said it before. Wrestling is a brotherhood, and that's the way he saw it too.
Yeah, yeah, and he was younger than me too. That's the
Yeah.
other. He wasn't much younger, but he was younger than me. But yeah, I liked him a lot. It's funny because the other day I was thinking about him before I heard that he was sick. I was thinking of him. I was thinking about, I wonder what he's up to because I haven't seen him for a while. And then this happened.
Well, I followed his thing on Facebook, and you know, he's had some health issues.
No, he's
for
like
a while.
450-pound guy. He's
Yeah,
gonna have
but
health
still.
issues no matter what.
And
gonna
this
catch up to
time,
you.
he just couldn't come back from them. And his wife posted that, you know, when I think it was 2 or 3 days ago when she first said that, you know, this was happening, that they were moving him to in hospice
Yeah,
care.
that's weird to think of.
You know, it was rough. And then I read today, you know, when he passed, because there was so much going back and forth. Like, he was so loved and so well known in wrestling. People were saying he was already gone, but he wasn't.
Right.
So they were just getting prepared for the time when he does go, because it was that, you know, it was right there at the end. And so it was hard to differentiate if he was gone or if he wasn't.
Right. I wasn't sure until you told me that he
So
was gone.
I was staying in touch with his sister-in-law, and that's how I got the official word that he had gone. And I was reading what his wife wrote, and she said that, you know, they were praying for him to go peacefully, and that's the way he went.
Yeah.
He went peacefully, and
And he was like so many wrestlers that he didn't have any money set aside,
right.
and he died without insurance, life insurance. So they're trying to raise money for him as well, and I don't even know how to tell anyone where to go if they want to help. 'Cause
They
don't
can
want-
get in contact with me, and I'll give them the
Okay,
information.
yeah, get in contact with her because I don't know.
Yeah, I have it.
There was one other death I forgot to talk about, and that's I didn't forget about. I just didn't put him in order. That's John Lewis. He was a civil rights leader. He was born in 1940. He died July 17th. American politician and civil rights leader who served in the United States House of Representatives for the Georgia 5th Congress District from 1987 till 2020, when he died from pancreatic cancer. He was chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, from 1963 to 1966. He was one of 6 leaders of groups who organized the 1963 March on Washington, and the last surviving one at the time of his death. So I guess at the time of his death he wouldn't have been the last one, he would have been dead. But right before he died, he was the last one. Let's say that. He fulfilled many key roles in the civil rights movement. He helped end legalized racial segregation in the United States in 1965. He also led the Selma to Montgomery marches across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, in which an incident became known as Bloody Sunday. Have you ever heard that? Bloody
Bloody
Sunday?
Sunday.
That's what that was about, in case you didn't know. And let's see here. Armed Alabama police attacked unarmed civil rights demonstrators, including Lewis, Hosea Williams, and Amelia Boynton. A member of the Democratic Party, Lewis was first elected to Congress in 1986 and served 17 terms in the House of Representatives. So, because he, due to his length of service, he became the dean of the Georgia Congressional Delegation. So, he got the back in. Let's see here. He was leader of the Democratic Party in the U.S. House of Representatives, serving from 1991 as chief. Now, get this. I bet you never heard this title before. He was the Chief Deputy Whip from 2003 as Senior Chief Deputy Whip, and he received many honorary degrees and awards, including the Presidential Medal of Honor. Did you ever hear of the Chief Deputy Whip?
Nope.
Well, I didn't either, and I looked it up to see what it was because I had no idea what it was. So party leaders and whips of the United States of House of Representatives are known as the floor leaders. So the whip is one of the floor leaders. But I never heard it called that. And I was like, what is the whip?
The only time I've heard whip was like way back that party.
I had no idea what it was supposed to be. And he's being good now.
Of course, his belly's full.
No, it's not. He's just tired. So, anyway, he died on the 17th. I just, I didn't see that right away, and I overlooked it until I realized that I didn't use it, so I wanted to make sure I said something about that. And lastly, my father died tomorrow, about 34 years ago, tomorrow. So, just wanted to bring that up because I never announced his death before because I didn't have a radio show back when that happened. So, and tomorrow happens to be my ex-wife's birthday. Yes, not Pam.
Oh,
not Pam. The other one.
tomorrow's also my first ex-husband's birthday.
Yeah.
See, another thing we have in common. I don't know if that's good or not, but
I don't know. I just a lot of things seem to happen on that date. I don't know why.
yeah, because Ashley, when I was pregnant with her, that's when she was due. So I had her early.
All right, so that does most of that. So got that out of the way.
And Amy just reminded us, she's been in my thoughts today, that
She
Hugh
reminded
went...
you didn't know that she was in your thoughts?
Yes, I knew she was
You
in my
just
thoughts.
said that she reminded you that she was in your thoughts.
Amy reminded me here that her husband Hugh left 2 years today.
That's weird.
He was gone.
Yeah.
And that's why, because I remember I
To
had
me, it
texted
seems
you.
like it's been longer because it just
It seems like it was just yesterday,
not
actually.
to me it seems like it happened years ago, but that's because
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Pam, which did happen many years ago now.
Yeah, because I remember texting you if you talk to Amy Sue before the show tonight to let her know that I was thinking of her.
I don't usually talk to anyone before the show because I'm preparing the show for last minute stuff or killing zombies, whichever. So,
Buddy, I don't know about him.
hey, it relaxes me. So, just don't become a zombie and you're okay. All right.
I don't plan on it.
Well, you never plan on it. It just happens. So, okay. Let me see. All right, that's covered in entertainment, so... What's that? Okay. All right. Straight into entertainment.
Is that anything like Straight Outta Compton?
Close.
Okay.
Restaurant Impossible returned to Bellefonte,
Yes!
and it was played on Thursday.
Yes!
And it was pretty interesting. I like Restaurant Impossible. I really like that show. I think that Robert is a dick part of the time, but I understand why he does what he does. But that was a good
it's
show.
successful.
That was a good show. I really enjoyed that show. Here's the trailer for it.
I'm in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, revisiting Mama Lucrezia's, where I first came 2014, where I met sisters Maria and Stefania.
You're pissed at your sister, yes or no?
Normally when I go into restaurants, it's to fix the broken restaurant, the food. In this case, the food was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
This is good.
that's
It's
I've
one
never
of the
eaten
best
there.
pizzas
I
I've ever
haven't
had in
either,
my
but I
life.
know exactly where
But
it
the
is.
family issues far outweighed anything.
You walked out on it. You made a choice.
I didn't have anything to do with this. I knew this. You gotta be kidding me.
I tell people all the time.
I talk about people that I haven't interviewed yet that I'd like to interview. He's on that list. You know, because I don't really do a whole lot with food other than eat it and now cook it every once in a while. But he's an interesting man because of his background, being in the military and marrying his wife, who is hot and a wrestler. She still wrestles, by the way.
Wow.
She wrestles for Impact, so that means she
Okay.
doesn't wrestle a lot. But you know, but he'd be an interesting guy because I would like to know a lot about everything. Like, what's his regimen for working out? How does he? Well, I figured something out when we watched that one, or when I watched that one about. Well, you watched it too. The one about the woman that got hit by the car and
Right.
and hit and run and all that, where he had.
He did that
How-
street fair type thing.
When I finally realized he doesn't make that stuff up. Like when he makes those specialty dishes, I realize he isn't the one that makes them up. He has a whole group of guys that decide what that special menu is going to be. I was thinking, man, if this guy's coming up with these menus for these different types, how can you do that? All these places, all the different places he goes to. But he has a whole staff that does all that for him. And I thought, wow, that now makes sense to me because I couldn't figure out. Okay, I like to be like as a musician, I like to be creative and I like to create things.
Yes.
I like to write songs, but sometimes use some of the same words in those songs, and so I figure, how does he make his stuff where he doesn't duplicate things when he makes it for each individual place? And I thought, there's got to be a way he does that. And, of course, now that he did that, he said, well, this is the people that help me make menus up.
Yep.
Boom, there it is. I now understand.
Now, Mama Lucretius is actually just catty-cornered from where my granddaughter Kylie lives.
Okay.
And that was also the site, that street that they're on, just up the street, maybe 4 or 5 stores, they had a hit and run there, which ended up killing the 36-year-old girl. So that's a bad street to be on.
Okay. Get the Let Out is playing in November at the State Theater.
Oh.
I saw them a couple years ago. What they are is they're a band that does Led Zeppelin songs, and perfectly. They are a bunch of Led Zeppelin fans, and they don't try to pretend that they could ever replace Led Zeppelin, but they really do a good job of it. That singer is like Robert Plant. I mean, if there was a Robert Plant imitator, that guy would have done Robert Plant. Anyway, that's the deal with that. I just thought it was fun because because it's close to what the stuff that you do, where you came from. And so, all right, let's see, we'll do that, and then how do I do that for this? I guess I do it this way. Yeah, so if you want to see that article, I am putting it on my Facebook. I forget how to get to my home. How do I get to my home page?
Hit the home.
Where? Oh, this. That's
Yes.
that doesn't take me there, does it? No, it takes me to not my home. It takes me to the.
Okay, then see over on the left, click your name.
There it is. I hate this new one. I really want to be at the other. I want the old one. I don't want this new one because it's confusing. Okay, there we are with Restaurant Impossible. And then it's almost as complicated as tweeting. I can't get my tweet I save it at the right spot so that I know where it's at. Okay, now we're okay. Now I can get rid of this. All right, next. This is a weird one. De Blasio rips Yankees for allowing Trump to throw the first pitch at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Why does de Blasio care?
Because it gets his name out there.
I think he doesn't like Trump too much, but we know that. I mean, that's a given, but I can't believe that that really matters. I guess it does get his name out there and shows that he doesn't support Trump, but a lot of the people don't. About half of them, I would guess, don't. But, yeah, it's pretty strange. I just think that it's so
being able to simply
weird.
connect on a
where's the sound
larger
coming
level.
from?
I think people
I
don't
know
even
it's on here
realize how
somewhere.
major
Where
that
are
is.
you at? I hear you. Okay, now I don't hear you. Okay. All right. It says here, President Trump's not fit for pinstripes, according to the Mayor Bill de Blasio. The mayor slammed New York Yankees for inviting hatred to your pitcher's mound by allowing President Trump to throw out the first pitch. I'm really surprised that Trump did that. Maybe it's kind of on his bucket list. I mean, what do you give a billionaire?
Anything he wants.
Yeah, I guess. After condemning racism, the next step isn't inviting it to your pitcher's mound. So, I don't know. I just think it's politics belong in politics, and baseball belongs in baseball, as far as I'm concerned. Speaking of which, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi are in the news.
I hope they're not getting divorced.
It's worse than that.
They're adopting children.
Their home was burglarized.
Oh,
Why don't they have a security system? You can afford a security system.
because Buddy's here with you.
Buddy wouldn't be with her because Buddy's only with me. He only believes in me.
Well, I don't know. I think he likes me.
Nope.
He does when I
You should hear
spoil
what he
him.
says about you.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's really weird to think that. I think did it say they got burglarized twice, or was that just?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't either. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office is reporting that Ellen DeGeneres and Portia, the home was burglarized on the 4th of July, of all places. I know where I was the 4th of July. High-value jewelry and watches were reportedly items taken from the home. And it says here, forensic technicians and detectives are apparently working the scene. So, I'm just going to tell you that's, unfortunate that people just, I don't know, I would think that she would have some kind of security or something that would stop that from happening, but I don't know. You would think with all her money.
You would think.
All right. Then we got a sad thing. Coco Beware has a knee replacement, and he needs to raise $10,000, and he's raised $2,860. That means that Jericho has not donated yet. I don't know if he's going to, but I would imagine that would be, he seems to jump in at the last second there when these things happen. But, yeah, I would really, it's kind of sad to think about. These guys gave their lives to wrestling, and they have no money. I mean, that's the way it was back in the day. If you weren't, and he was a top name back in the day, but they weren't. If you weren't Hogan, you weren't making money,
Right.
and you were making okay money. But if you squandered it, or didn't make enough, I mean, you don't get ahead. Oh, here's the slam. I knew I had the slam thing. I couldn't find it. There it is. Yeah.
I love the picture that she put on when she said that he had passed. Scroll down. I love that picture. I think that's his hand, her hand, and their son.
Probably. I think it's sad, but yet it could have been worse.
Yep.
You know, he was definitely. I mean, I'm looking here. Here's 551 comments, 567 likes.
Right.
I mean, I hope when I go, people
80
remember
shares.
me. I hope that people remember me.
They will
So,
if I have anything to say
Nah,
about it.
They won't remember me, or they won't say any nice things.
They'll just say you're trash. You're the debacle of society.
Well, like I said, I just I think he was definitely a good guy, and
Just
I couldn't say enough about him. He just had a lot to do with
and the thing is,
a good locker
He-
room. He kept the locker room good.
he was always, you know, I mean, I'm sure he was frustrated at things, but I remember whenever we would go to his shows when he was there, you know, he'd come up, shake your hand, give you a hug, and say, "How you doing, brother?" You know, he always treated you with respect. He was, you know, your friend. I never really saw him get mad from the times that we did his, you know, his shows or saw him there. He was just genuine.
Yeah. And yet, in the ring, he could scare the living daylights out.
Oh yeah.
He was fun. He was a great guy. I can never say enough nice stuff about him. And I just remember the good times that we were there. I mean, there were times when you and I remember going to that school that
Yes.
we worked at, and I forget who he put me with, but he never gave me chumps to work with. He gave me good guys to work with, so I never had to worry about whether somebody was going to do something and hurt me.
Right.
He always took care of me, so I appreciate that more than anything.
Well, I know I was staying in touch with his sister-in-law, and, you know, I said to her, you know, please give Michelle and the whole family our love and our condolences, and she said that she was saving all the messages, all the postings, you know, and stuff that people were sending her, posting on his page, posting on Michelle's page, so that Michelle could see them when she was ready.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was... it's hard.
I need to... Let's see. I need to get... Notepad. Let's see. I'm going to play a game with you, and you don't know it. Okay. According to E.T. Insider,
Never read the magazine.
it doesn't matter, who are the top 10 WWE/WWF wrestlers in history? And I'm going to tell you, you know every one of them, and you should be able to guess every one of them.
I doubt it.
Go ahead.
Andre the Giant.
Oh, they didn't have that one, though.
What?
I know, I would have, but once you hear who's in it, you'll understand.
Hogan.
Hogan is correct. That's 1 point for you.
The Rock.
The Rock is correct. That's number 2. See, you're
Now wait a minute.
doing good.
John Cena.
Yes, you win that as well.
I'm glad these aren't in order.
They are not in order, believe
Thank
me.
God.
If you'd like, I can
No.
I can give you the numbers that they are, if that'll help.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so Hogan is number 4.
Well, okay.
The Rock is number 6.
Okay.
Okay, and Cena. Whoop, that says T. Not number T. Why didn't it 6 go up? I must have pushed the unlock. Okay, number 6. Cena is number 9.
Whoa.
So you're missing a lot.
Okay. And you said there's 10.
There are 10. And there
Okay.
are 10 that you can answer because some of them you have seen live.
Okay. Hogan. Brock, and you said Andre's not on there.
Andre is not.
Okay.
But let me say, every one of these, you should, without a doubt, know who they are.
My buddy Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels is number 7.
See, I have to be careful how I answer these because, yeah, you could have just put HBK. Okay, Ric Flair.
Wrong.
Wow.
I really was surprised that one was,
Okay.
was not.
So let's do this. You're putting those there. I'm
Don't you
going to put
cheat.
the wrong ones
Okay.
here.
You can do that. That way you won't say it more than once.
Right. Okay. Now you're saying these
You-
are the top 10
You know
wrestling.
them. You know every one of them.
These are the top 10 wrestling.
And you've met a couple of them.
Okay.
You've met at least one.
DiBiase.
No. Actually, you've only met one. But you've seen every one of
That
them.
you know I've only met one.
I know you've...
The Undertaker.
That is one of them, number 10. Oh,
I was going to say number.
He's not number 1, he's number 10.
Okay.
Hi, puppy. What are you staring at?
Triple H.
Triple H is number 8.
Wow. Hey, I'm getting the last half.
Oops.
Buddy, why do you let him do this to me?
Because it's fun.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't pay for me to say it, because
Yeah, that's true.
I'm one that
Hey, I
writes
got the
shit.
last half, so.
Yes, you do. You have 6 through 10.
Okay, the fact that you were talking about Coco
He's not.
Beware,
He's
I
not.
didn't think he was.
No, that was just the lead into this. Coco Beware. Beware.
Okay. Now, what's the category again?
The top 10 WWF, it says WWF wrestlers, but they're actually, technically, some of them are WWE.
Randy Orton.
Okay, let me tell you that none of them are that new, except Cena.
So Orton's not on there.
Orton is not.
Okay.
The newest one, I would say, is Cena.
Okay, so Samoa Joe's not on there.
Nope.
CM Punk wouldn't be on
Nope.
there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have 4 more I have to come up with.
That is correct.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Warrior?
No. I said
Okay.
best.
Macho Man.
Macho Man is on there. He is number 2.
Ouch.
Number 2.
Hey, now I'm getting in the right area.
Yes.
So I need 1, 3, and 5. Oh, God. Odd numbers. I don't do very well. Okay. For 1, 3, and 5, are they dead or alive?
Yes. Dead, alive, alive.
1, 3, and 5?
Yeah.
2 alive, 1 dead.
Yes.
Okay.
And you met the dead one.
I've met the dead one.
Yes.
I met the dead one?
Yep.
How can I meet a dead man?
You weren't. He wasn't dead when you met him.
Oh,
So it's somebody who died when you were alive.
so then I've met 2 of them. I've met this dead one, and I met Shawn Michaels.
There you go. And number 3 and number Number 3 has been on the show, and number 6 is not. Or number 5 is not.
Okay, so which one is dead? 1, 3, or 5?
1 is dead.
Okay, and I met that one. Okay. Dusty
Somebody's trying
Rhodes?
to get past you. Nope. He should be on there, but he's not,
Okay.
in my eyes.
Oh, hell. I'm down to 3.
And I told you 1 was on the show, right?
Right,
Okay. And 1 is dead.
right.
Actually, 2 have been on the show. The one that was dead is on the show. Was on the show.
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart is number 3.
Okay. Hulk, it was already on there, Amy, number 4. Okay, so I had 1 and 5. Who could be
They're really
more-
big names.
Who could be a bigger name than Macho Man?
Oh.
That's not Andre or
When you
Flair.
figure it out, when you say the name, you will say, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, and I met that one.
Yes.
So I had to have been with you when I met them.
Yes. And you know them both. And it's a big 2 names that you are missing. The one you would probably be less likely to think of him as a WWE or F superstar, because he would be more of a WWF superstar.
So that means older. And no, it's not Andre. That was my first guess,
That's
Amy
correct.
Sue. Ah. Okay. And you said these 2 that I have yet, they've both been on the show.
No, 1 has been on the show.
Okay.
The other one I'd love to have on the show. And the other one has done some television. And some movies.
And I said The Rock. Okay.
It's the same era. Although he's been in wrestling, in wrestling longer than The Rock.
You
But
said
they hit
Cena's the
big
youngest one there.
time. Who?
Cena.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, hell. You know how much I hate this game when you do this to me.
It's an easy one. This is an easy
For
one.
you, because you
For
have the
too.
answers.
It's easy for you, too, because you do know
Okay.
everybody.
Okay.
I can start hinting if you need it.
That would be nice.
1986. Oops. You met him.
I met him in 86?
Yes.
Terry Funk?
No. But you're close. You're close to the era.
Okay.
You met him at the same spot that you met Terry Funk.
Tony Atlas?
Nope.
Okay, so I gotta add those names.
Where did you meet Terry Funk?
At a convention.
Okay. It was at that convention you met him too.
Bruno Sammartino?
Boom! Number 1.
Oh my god! Okay.
Now, how do I figure out the other one? You
should-
watched one of his television shows. Regularly.
Steve Austin.
There you go. You got them all.
See, I was gonna say that before, and then I was like, I think you made the comment that Cena was the youngest, so I forgot about that one.
He was the same time as The Rock.
Because what I was trying to do, once I had Shawn Michaels, I'm thinking, okay, that was to Generation X. And that's where I come up with the Triple H.
So you really did 8 of them without any help.
Yeah.
And I've really only helped you with, 7 of them.
Still,
Well,
that's over
pretty
half.
Good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm glad we weren't doing his
I
Hangman
was-
style because I got all these
Oh, yeah.
wrong ones.
Yeah, you would have. You would have been. We would have had to have several people who could have done that one. Hey, that's pretty good though. I mean, that's actually
Yeah.
that's pretty good. So, How many did you get wrong? Did you get 10 wrong?
3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Almost 10 for 10.
The fact that I can even remember 20 wrestlers' names is actually pretty good.
Yeah, but again, these are all guys that you
Yeah.
do know, and I kind of thought that would be a fun game because, it was.
Can I tell you what my next choice was going
What's
to
that?
be?
Who's the next one?
New Jack.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that was according to. I just found this site. And I started using it because there we are. So,
Wow.
I thought you did really good. I was cheering for you.
I'm shocked.
And actually, that's a good list. I mean, that's a good representation. The reason probably not for Andre was was a guy that Vince used sparingly because the gimmick only worked if they used it sparingly. In other words, Andre worked all over the world. And,
Right.
And what Vince did was he booked him so that he could only work for Vince, but Vince would book him out to Japan and book him out to different places, but not his competition. So he was pretty smart about what he did. But I thought you'd like that because that was a fun little game since we were talking about wrestling anyway. So I'm going to leave Slam's picture up because
Yeah.
I can. So that's the end of that. I just kind of thought that was a fun one. Oh, by the way, we talked about Ellen DeGeneres. Also, Ellen DeGeneres' workplace is under investigation,
Oh, jeez.
and not anything that Ellen has done. So, the nice thing is that Ellen's not in trouble. But when you're as big as Ellen DeGeneres is, you have a staff.
Of
And the
course.
staff did things that were not necessarily cool.
Ruh-roh-roh.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad because it puts a black mark on her, and she didn't do anything wrong, so it's kind of sad because she's in the middle of the garbage, even though she shouldn't have to be. So, well, wait a minute, didn't I send that? I thought I did. Don't lie, I sent that. I did send that. Doggone it. Okay. But anyway, here it says the Ellen DeGeneres show has become the subject of an internal investigation by Warner Media following numerous accounts of workplace problems on a long-running daytime series. Executives from the show producer series Telepictures and distributor Warner Brothers Television sent a memo to staffers last week saying they have engaged WBTV owner Warner Media's employee relations group and a third-party firm who will interview current...
I'm so sorry, Preston T.
What?
Jake from
Where'd you
State
come
Farm?
from?
Here's the deal.
Shut
She's not the one for
Hey!
me. She's not going to
Can't turn
protect
you
all her
off.
stuff with State
Hey!
Farm.
Hey! Where'd you go?
Like a good neighbor,
I don't
State
care.
Farm is there.
I don't use you. I can tell the story of that someday. Who will interview current and former staffers about their experiences. Apparently there's racism and intimidation tactics used on that show. So they just... Again, it's not anything she did. It's just that, I was trying to find some pictures of Slam, and I can't... I mean, I've got so many drives to go through to find the pictures that I couldn't do it in time. All right, then... My girlfriend is in the news.
Which one?
Thought you could figure it out. Rebel Wilson.
Like I said, which one?
Oh,
You have so many that I can't keep them all
she's
straight.
the one I want. I liked her when she was bigger, but now she's even better because she's a little fit. She's been spending the past year getting fit.
Wow.
And I think we talked about it a little bit, but this is, let's see here. Let me get rid of this. Okay.
Did you know
Here
that
you
she
go.
has a new comedy show out? It's one where they're taking, I think it's like 10 comedians, and they're trying not to laugh in order to win money. If you laugh, you lose.
Okay. All right.
So, I haven't watched it, but it looks kind of interesting, especially since I can laugh.
All right. So anyway, here you get to see her as in a bathing suit, and she really does look good. She really actually, she's been doing all kinds of. If you take a look at this picture, she really shows the weight loss in this picture. So you're not looking.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
She's pink and black. Wearing pink and black.
If you send me the picture, send me that link for that picture, I will use that for my picture. For the rest
It's
of the
on
show.
his wall.
Well, if you've got it right there, just give me the link. Anyway, yeah, she looks really good. She lost, says lost 75 kilograms, which is roughly 165 pounds.
Wow.
And that's an amazing amount of weight to lose. So I am very impressed.
And if she could outrun you.
She could have outrun me anytime because I'm old. I can't run.
You can't run. You can't.
Yeah,
Oh, whoops.
That's true. Let's see. I need this link. There it is. We use this for the.
Now scroll down. I didn't think it was that far down.
It must have been, unless you.
No.
It's not here.
Wow.
I don't think you're looking at the right place.
It was right after the picture of the hands.
I don't have that. What hands?
The one in the hospital?
It's on his page.
Yeah, that's the one I gave you.
I don't see it.
Okay.
I think you're lying to me.
Let me try this one then.
That's just, yeah, I want, well, just wait. Stop. 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 You didn't stop. No, if you just go back there. Okay, give me the mouse. Okay.
Sorry, roadkill.
Oops.
Why? Did you enjoy that? Uh-huh.
Okay, that's the picture.
That's what I was going to send you.
Well, I don't know that you were going to send that to me. I know that's...
Over here.
Come on. Come on. I can't open it. You don't have to point the paste. I know what the paste looks like. There we go. That's the page we'll look at for the rest of the show. All right. Okay. So anyway,
Sorry, buddy, it's not of you.
I just got a call from Livid. That's who was just trying to call me. Livid is the company that wants me to start broadcasting for them on another platform. So obviously he didn't understand what I said, and I have a show every Tuesday. So, I can't really talk to him while I'm on the air. Anyway, so that's Rebel stuff. When you with a Rebel yell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of Hulk Hogan, fans are worried about Hulk Hogan because he had a hospital stay, or at least a hospitalization he was tweeting about.
Oh, boy.
And we don't know why. We think that it might have been related to his back surgeries that he's had. So, it says here, 66-year-old stuns fans with a series of photos showing him getting an MRI. So, I don't know. Well, what could it be? It could be, I mean, hopefully it's his back versus what it could
Right.
be. So that was interesting. That yes, I know you worry about him too. Did you eat all that?
Looks like it.
This what you want? Your new favorite. They were expensive, by the way. So take it slow on them.
He left.
All right. Next. All right. We got. Oh, this is another one that I think you sent me this one too.
I sent you a bunch this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drive-in movies are coming to Harrisburg's Farm Show Complex thanks to Midtown Cinema. Midtown Cinema is a neat little place. It's just a small little 3-screen place, and they offer unique treats. I just gave you that, and I know you didn't eat that.
So I was like, what?
So it's interesting that they're going to be doing an outside thing. I mean, I guess that's the way to go nowadays because everybody wants to be social distancing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do it. I don't know how they're going to do. Like they're going to do 2 shows, one at 4. How can you do a drive-in at 4 unless they're
Well,
you know?
think about this. They have to be able to get like vehicles in there somehow. Like when they do car shows and stuff there. So they'll probably open up some kind of bay doors to let the cars there to do it, or just off of the dark brick, they'll put the movie there.
I can't imagine. Well, they're going to have a blow-up screen, is what it said.
Okay.
I just can't imagine.
Off the side of the building, maybe.
I can't imagine it's going to be too bright. It's not. They're not going to be able to do a show outside unless
If it's
they
in
have
the
cover.
back, maybe it'll be darker.
Unless
I
they-
don't know. It'll
unless
be
they have a-
interesting to find out.
So $15 a car for the 4 o'clock, and it's going to be $25 a car, I think, for the later show. But they're showing old movies like Jurassic Park. So
Well, the fun thing will be how many, depending on how they do the 4 o'clock one. I mean, I could see this happening more with the 8 o'clock rather than the 4, but if they do it, you'll see people pulling over if you can see wherever
I
they're
would
doing
think
this.
they'd use the back half a lot. Like the back half doesn't have
Right.
any traffic.
So that they can't, people can't pull over and watch the movie for nothing.
But it's an old movie, so I don't think that matters. But yeah, I just think it's interesting they're trying to make it work, and they, I think it's a good idea. So we'll see. I think it definitely is a good idea, and creativity.
Oh yeah.
That's how you do it.
I mean,
I
if
know
it's a
that-
way to everybody's going crazy from not being able to do things, well, this is a way you could do
Well,
something.
Again, other companies are doing it too in Pennsylvania. It says here that there are going to be other, obviously, like Harr's Drive-In, which has been doing it for years and years.
Right.
But there's also the Penn Cinema in Lancaster or Lidditz or whatever that is. They're going to do one too. Actually, they're going to have a blow-up outside. It says here they're going to be $35 for a
Oh.
double feature.
Well,
But they haven't announced when they're going to do it yet. And yeah, Lidditz. Okay, there it is. I knew it was somewhere around here. Springhouse Brewery in Lancaster is going to be doing it. Mount Hope Estate and Winery is going to be doing it. Mahoning Drive-In is going to be doing it.
I know there are quite a few churches doing drive-in services,
Yep.
so
Skyview
why
Drive-In
not?
In Gratz says they'll be doing it. But it says as Dauphin County is still in the red phase under Wolf's order, the theater shared on their page that they aren't doing it yet, but they're going to be doing it. So interesting. I think that it's only a matter of time before other places come up with interesting ways to make money, because we're getting into a situation where a lot of people are tired of being at home and
Yes.
they want to be out. And you can't go to bars because people don't wear their masks there. So,
Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you that I didn't. Yesterday at work, I had one of these crazy days where I had to split my work day, in half because I had a dentist appointment in the afternoon. So after my appointment, I went back to work, finished up, and I was driving home, and I thought, I'm going to stop, get something, and take it home to eat. That way, and I would call it ahead so that it would be ready when I got there. So when I stopped, I go into the place, I have my mask on, and she's like, well, we're running a little bit behind. She says, just have a seat there, we'll get to it as quickly as we can. And I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, and these three, I'm going to say they were teenagers. They looked 17, 18. They come in, and the girl at the door, she told them that she could not wait on them because they were not wearing masks. And they're like, but we have to take masks off to eat. And she's like, I'm sorry, I cannot let you in here unless you have a mask on. And they're like, well, what about if we use some of the outdoor seating? And she said, that's fine. But they had to go out and around the restaurant to get to the outdoor seating.
Okay.
What?
Somebody thinks he can trick me into giving him more stuff.
Yes, there was a dog there too. I saw the dog. But the dog wasn't wearing a mask. So they probably wouldn't let you there either.
He's a pest. All right. We've got, let's see, what are we doing here? This is a pretty neat story.
Yeah, I read that one.
It says, I want someone to do the same for me. Landlord lets family stay who can't pay the rent. And happened in Ohio. It says here, with $0 left, an Ohio father said he was out of options to provide for his family. When the landlord came knocking on the door, he feared the worst. But what happened next was an unexpected gift.
What?
And so the gift was the landlord says, okay, if you can't afford it, you can still stay. So.
And he also, I believe, gave them money for food.
I would just hate to be a parent at this time, trying to figure it all out, because, man, I think about, like, if I were working and I didn't, I lost my job or whatever, that would be horrible to think about. So.
Well, I remember when I lived in the mobile home across the field over here, and the budget wasn't signed.
Yeah.
And I remember panicking because that was my only income, and if I wasn't getting paid, I couldn't afford to pay my rent or any of my other bills. And I remember going to my landlord and saying, look, I don't want to do this, but I don't have a choice. Hi, Pop.
Says here 10 weeks ago, Wes Mobley was laid off from his information technology job. He hasn't had a paycheck since. That was 10 weeks ago.
Wow.
I'm worried about, and a lot of people just don't. People are living month to month as it is. A lot of us, and so if you had to live week to week, and we're talking about 10 weeks, you would be out of money. So, I mean, that's.
Well, remember what you said when you were growing up?
Yep.
That you'd have to live paycheck to paycheck?
Yep. And you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck because something like this, which is totally unexpected, nobody would have seen this coming a year ago. And now a lot of people are probably in the same situation he's in. And so I just think that it would, people are just panicking over how are you going to make it? How are you going to make ends meet? So
It's hard. I mean, we're going to have to pull back, come back from this somehow. But on the other hand, if you've got all these small businesses, coming and closing, and you have the
he
small.
doesn't want that. He wants something else. I don't know what he wants.
Oh, wait a minute.
He's not getting into it. He's not going to eat it.
You have the small businesses closing because they can't afford, they can't be open, but yet the people that need them can't afford there because they're not working and they don't have the money.
Right.
Puppy.
Yeah. It's really it's scary. I can't imagine how people are going to make it. It says here, Mobley and his fiance used up their savings to provide for the twin 5-year-old daughters. Get rid of the kids. I just say you don't need them. Make sure they have food, place to eat, place to live, clothes to wear, and soon they couldn't afford to pay the rent. They always pay their rent on time. They paid in May and June. Then July came, and I have not heard from him. Instead of an eviction notice, he decided to help. And he let them stay in the house and gave them money right out of his pocket.
Yep.
He gave us $100 because I told him, like, our phone line has been turned off. We had $0 at that point. The other big thing was, like, do we have a place to live? And now, I wonder how many more people are in this situation because they have no other solutions. They don't have, even a lot of these people don't have any savings.
Right.
And I was concerned about this when it first started. I was saying there's a bunch of, people that live paycheck to paycheck, and I had some kickback from some people that said, well, if you don't have more than 2 months saved, then you're in trouble. I said, well, most of my life I was in trouble, and most of the people I know are in trouble. So most of us are that way. I'm fortunate enough that I have a retirement,
Right.
although it's not as big because the stock market took a crash. But I think it'll recover, so I'm really not that concerned about it. And right now, my expenses are pretty much all-time low because I don't have a mortgage. I don't have, a lot like electricity. This time of year is minimal for me because I have solar panels. But wintertime,
Yeah.
I take a hit from wintertime. So, I mean, it's as cold as it can be in here. And I like it that way, except in the wintertime. And I want it to be warm. But, it's cheaper for me to run my house than a lot of people's houses that are a lot smaller.
At least you don't have heating oil to pay for.
Right. I don't, because I'm all electric.
That's my next thing I got to start preparing for.
Well, that's why I'm concerned about them making this. I'll talk about that in an upcoming. I have something I want to talk about next that is kind of. I think I forgot to hit this. Can open that again. Let's see.
I mean, that says something for this landlord too. If he's
The landlord's a good guy.
yeah, and for him to give right out of his pocket, that says he cares about people.
Okay, I did
And
do it. Okay, I didn't know if I did.
you wish there were more people out there like that.
Oh yeah, but then there's people that would take advantage of it too. There are people that would take advantage of that,
Of course,
and
people who would expect to say,
well, that's what I'm saying. There are people that would do that. So, then we talk about this one. This is interesting. She's 99.
oh boy,
And she becomes the world's oldest active pilot and flight instructor.
Inspiring in Riverside County flight instruction is now in the Guinness Book of World Records.
So great. She took her final trip today at the age of 99.
99.
With Robina Asti. She gave her final flight lesson for Next Gen Flight Academy at Riverside Municipal Airport, taking student Brandon Martini into the air,
Just
qualifying
unbelievable.
her for the title as world's
Now, she's
oldest
probably living
flight
paycheck to
instructor
paycheck, too.
and the
That's why she's
oldest
working until
active
she's
pilot.
99.
Robina has been teaching people to fly.
Can you
for
imagine
decades.
a 99-year-old flying your
love
plane?
getting people to experience
hey,
what it's
she
like
did it. It was on her bucket list. Maybe that's the only thing she has
She's not
left.
social distancing. Look at that.
She taught me a few things up there that I haven't learned in
That's
well
probably
over
her son.
1,000 hours. And it was kind of neat getting a new perspective from somebody who's just been flying so long.
Amazing. Robina says she wanted to show that
That's just
seniors
amazing to
are
me.
strong, vital, and can still
I hope that
contribute.
if I get to be that age, I'm that good, in good shape. I mean, she truly is. I can see that she's definitely in good shape for a 99-year-old. I mean, my mother's what, 80? No, 77, 78?
76.
She's 78 now. And 79? Wait. She's 79
She's a
now.
couple years older than my dad.
Well, she's 79 now, and she's barely able to walk. And this woman here is teaching people how to fly. That tells me a lot. That's a pretty, hefty person that can do that and have all her wits about her and everything. But that's really cool. I just thought that was a fun thing. And yes, hi Danny. What else? Oh, this was weird. Go into Walmart and you see this, and what do you think? People wearing their swastika masks. These people just...
Well, the only other people that will see them are other shoppers, because
now
I saw
sees
where Walmart is going to go to all self-checkout.
No. Well, but it's not there yet.
Not
It
yet.
says here, Walmart bans couple who wore swastika masks. I'll tell you, that's Minnesota. What's going on in Walmart? On Saturday, the first day of Minnesota's mandatory mask update, a man and a woman went shopping at Walmart in Marshall, which is a population of 15,000, wearing masks with swastikas. In a video posted to Facebook, the man calmly pays for his items, including toilet paper and a tub of cheese balls, while the woman responds to shoppers, challenging her, if you vote for Biden, you're going to be living in Nazi Germany. And that's what it's going to be like. Socialism is going to happen here in America. She gestured with both middle fingers and later blew an air kiss from behind her mask. Video was posted by Raffaella.
Raffaella.
24-year-old Lutheran vicar. And I audibly gasped. The thing is, they're doing it to be sensationalized, and it's working. They must be Trump followers, because they said specifically Biden. If you vote for Biden, you're going to be living in Nazi Germany. That's what I got to say. This to be fair to Biden. Now, I don't plan on voting for Biden, but to be fair to Biden, people are saying that about Trump.
Right.
So it's interesting that they're saying that. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird that people can't just wear the masks and be done with it. They got to make a statement. That's why I want my masks to be nothing. I don't want anything. I don't want it to say anything. I don't have anything to say. I just want to get through this. I really do. I know what you're going to say, but I have nothing to say. I just want to get through this thing. I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. I don't want to, the people that fight about it, they need to go away. They need to understand this isn't a political thing.
Right.
This is not a political thing at all. This is a thing of life, living. If we want to get through this thing, our country is the only one that's going up like this. Other countries have got it under control. Why is that? Because we're idiots, and we're fighting, saying we're making this into something it's not. If we just wore our masks for 2 weeks, we'd see the numbers drop major. But these people...
I think that
gotta make a
people out
statement.
there are afraid that if they would do what they're supposed to and wear their masks like they're supposed to for 2 weeks, that, if I do this for 2 weeks, I don't have to do it the rest of my life.
If we did it for 2 months like we should have, it'd be done by now. Because other countries have it under control. Now, I'll go into this as we get to it.
Like Nietzsche just said, they're fighting because it's party against party. That's what's wrong
I know,
with
it's
everything.
just so stupid.
Yeah.
It just drives me nuts. So I think the less we let... See, what we do is we give them guys coverage. If we gave them no coverage and left them wear it and look like stupid idiots, and they went out in the streets to the right people, they'd end up getting beat up. So
That's true.
especially if they end up walking down the wrong place.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, speaking of which, now a non-virus thing. 4 guys in Texas who not only have one of the highest rates of COVID, they're being drenched by a cyclone and surge of the virus.
Hey,
cases.
that's what Hershey looked like 2 years ago.
Oh man, that's...
Yes, I do remember that.
I feel bad for the bison. Didn't the bison get drowned in a couple years ago when it happened. Just is really nutty.
Yeah, because I had pictures come up on my memories about all that water and
That's why I like where I'm living. I may be flooded in, but I'm not gonna be flooded. Because you remembered the time that I got flooded in the couldn't leave Dothan.
Yeah. And I wanted to go to a demolition derby in York, and I couldn't.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like a demolition derby where we were. So, sucks. But yeah, so our Texas, South Texas, is definitely in a major problem. So, then, I wonder how smart we are. After hundreds gathered at California Faith event without masks, these people that believe that God's going to take care of them, they don't seem to understand. God doesn't care. About this. God knows what has to be done, and God's saying, okay, you and you and you and you're all going to die. You're all going to get COVID because God doesn't, if you walk out in front of a car that's speeding down the road and jump in front of the car, you're going to die. God's not going to stop you from dying.
That stuff is already written. We just don't know it.
But if you take a gun, okay, I watched Tiger King this weekend. Mm-hmm. Tiger King was really cool. But there's one scene in there which is this is real. This guy was pointing the gun at somebody, and he goes, look, don't point that gun at me. He says, well, I don't have a clip in it, and this one doesn't shoot if you have the clip out. And he goes, look, and he shot it, and it killed him.
Ooh.
God does not. If you point the gun at your head, and you pull the trigger, and you die, God had nothing to do with that. That's your stupidity. Now, God probably knew you were going to be stupid, but the thing is, if you don't wear your mask, and you're in California especially, I talked to my brother last night, and he said,
wow.
He said that, well,
yeah.
When I say talk, it was a couple, like 4 lines.
I was going to say, you actually talked to Dale? Oh, you meant the other brother.
No, my brother, not my asshole brother. Anyway, he said that it's really, really bad out there. And California is one of the worst ones. Because they were going to go to red on 18 counties or something like that. But, if those people are that smart that they're going to not wear their masks, they deserve what they get. But they're causing the problem. That's the thing. They're causing the problem.
And if you're not part of the problem, then you have to be part of the solution. And the solution is wear your mask.
They are the problem. These people are the problem. The people that refuse to wear a mask and don't social distance, they're the problem. And they're the ones that are causing all of us to have to be continually wearing masks because they won't not wear a mask for long enough for this to take and be taken care of.
Now, you remember when the last time you went to the store and I rode along with you,
Mm-hmm.
I had mine on.
Mm-hmm.
But there were times when there was nobody else around us.
Well, yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, but
because
I took mine off. Even if that's what you have to do, take it off for a little bit. As soon as you see somebody coming, put it back on. And I even told you the reason why I was doing that was because that mask was so hot.
Right, but mine worked good.
Yeah, well, you weren't wearing the one that I was.
Yeah, because I'm smart. I bought the good one. I got one with a little filter in it. That one is great.
We'll see if I do anything for the show anymore.
Hey, I offered it to you, but you didn't take it.
That's because I had mine.
Yeah, and I breathed, and you didn't.
I wanted to promote the show. That's what I do.
Well, maybe you should have been smart enough to... what in the world? That's not the... That was last week. What? What's going on here? All right.
And I'll have you know that somebody actually asked me about that mask yesterday when I was in the office. They asked me where I got it. And I said that I had somebody make it for me.
Well, personally, if I can alter that mask with a filter, I'm going to do that because it's... I'll tell you, mine breathed like I was breathing regular air. And it got hot a little one time, but it was okay. So, anyway, the faith, people, if you have faith that you're not going to get the COVID, you're causing the rest of us problems, because you probably will get the COVID if you're around that many people. I've got a lot more COVID information coming.
And while you're at it, think about the doctors and the nurses and the frontline people that are out there working with these patients,
think about
day
that
after
doctor
day.
that just killed himself.
Yeah.
Or that didn't kill. He got
died
the COVID.
from this.
Yeah.
They're out there, they're really exposing themselves to it, even taking all the precautions that they are. And if they're doing everything in their power not to get it, whether it's the sanitizing, the protective gear, the masks, the whatever, they're constantly being tested and they're not getting it, you do the same thing and you can almost be sure that you wouldn't get it. I mean, I know I feel better because I had said this to someone today. I said that this stuff it's making everybody crazy. But if you watch where you're going, and what?
Some people are crazy.
Well, yeah.
You thought I said you were crazy, huh? You're wrong. That's not what I said. But you are.
Yeah, but how do I know you weren't talking about me? See?
You were right here. You could tell if I was talking about you. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, we'll get back to more COVID stuff as I get my trackball back. All right, here we are. Okay. Well, New York beaches. What do you think they found on the beach, or in the beach, or around the beach?
New York?
Yeah.
Sharks?
Sharks of significant sizes. Closes some of the LI beaches.
Hi, puppy.
See if I got this here. Oh, see if they trick me and stick a clip in the beginning that I don't want to hear. Come on.
Hi, puppy.
There you go.
Oh, the beach.
And that's New York. A New York beach. Long Island Beach. The water is awesome. I just don't know if they're going to show it or not. Hey, I should have watched this ahead of time. Okay. I don't see any sharks. I think it's safe. According to this, it's safe.
Good.
Well, they didn't show anything. Well, that's
good.
stupid. That's not what was supposed to happen. All right. Tricked me.
Hey, we ought to get a hold of those guys that were by us on the 4th of July. Maybe he'd want to go, trying to catch them.
Can't stop it. What's going on? Stop. Stop. I don't want to see this freaking... Okay, we're going to stop this. I'll reboot this. Okay. There we go. All right. It says here, a shark of significant size was spotted off of Hampstead, Long Island on Monday, prompting local beach official for closures. And then it says here, a shark was spotted by the town of Hempstead. Lifeguard on a surfboard. Due to shark sighting, the lifeguards have red flagged the strip of water as per the New York NS. What's the New York S shark protocols?
New York State. Probably.
State, yeah, that could be it. So, the shark spotting alert said that Lido beaches and Lido were closed as a precaution, as were the Town Park Lookout and Town Park at Sands. Long Beach was closed to swimmers because of the sighting. So, I don't know. It was a 10-foot shark, apparently. The one we saw was like
3 feet. It was only like a 4 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. But remember, the guy said he caught an 8 foot.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I think the sharks are tired of wearing masks too. So, beware. But that's really weird to think of with
Oh.
What?
Interesting. Natasha's mother-in-law.
Okay.
I think it's more, it could be this. She had put up something a few days ago on her Facebook that it's just now coming up on my feed. But she's like, I'm not against wearing a mask. I'm against being forced to wear a mask. There's
Then
a
just
difference.
Wear it and shut up.
Well, she does. If she's out around people, she will wear it.
Okay.
But she also will.
You're not forced to wear a mask. Just don't go to those businesses that
Right.
tell you got to wear them. That's it. You know, we're not against you not wearing a mask. Just don't not wear a mask around me.
Right.
Yeah, it's a courtesy thing. It's not really. You know, think about it. What's the reason for you wearing a mask? The medical reason.
You mean at work?
Anywhere. Why is it that you wear a mask?
Because I don't want to get bitched at.
No. With COVID.
It's supposed to protect not only me.
No, doesn't
well,
protect
now,
you.
now wait a minute.
You wearing a mask does not protect you.
Now, see, there's where I'm going to differ on
You
you.
can differ with me all you want.
Because it not only protects me, but it also protects you.
No, it does protect me. It does not protect you. You wearing the mask because you're breathing in. If someone is not wearing a mask around you and you wear your mask, you can still get sick. That's why they're telling you.
What?
Well, you're wrong in this case.
Now you just now noticed that.
I don't read your shirt. I usually. The reason for the mask is that mask is one way. In other words, when you cough, it catches all things in the mask. And when someone else coughs, it catches in their mask. If you do not wear a mask, it's a green screen.
No, but there's something on it.
It's a bug. If you don't wear a mask, you cough and it goes out. The mask prevents you from pushing out your germs.
Which is protecting you.
Protecting someone else.
It can do that. It can work both ways.
It does not work both ways unless you have a N95 mask. If just the standard masks and the cloth masks only protect others when you wear it. So I did my research. I'm spouting the truth. I'm a truther. So that's why, as far as I'm concerned, if you're wearing your mask, you're doing the right thing. And that's why I think it's important that people do the right thing. Because if you don't wear your mask, you're giving your germs to others. If you wear the mask, you're not giving your germs to others. That's how it works. You're not agreeing with me, but that's what it is. I did enough research on the masks because I wanted to make sure that I got the best mask I could afford. Anyway, and I'm sure the sharks are not wearing any masks.
Well, if they're not biting, maybe they are.
Maybe they're tired. Anyway, if you go to Epcot Center, which is a really cool place, by the way, if you've never, I'm sure you've never been there because we've talked about that, but if you've never been there, it's really a good place to go. What is one thing you don't bring to Epcot Center?
A gun.
Hey, you read my notes.
No, I didn't.
This woman, this mother, decided to bring in guns, drugs, in a diaper bag. Takes all kinds.
Mm-hmm.
It takes all kinds. I personally, if I were going to Epcot, I would be squeaky clean because, you just don't want to go there with anything to catch a major issue with the law because they have money to prosecute. Not that you ever should anyway, but...
I didn't know it was in there.
A Georgia mom visiting Disney's Epcot Center with her family, including her 7-month-old daughter, allegedly filled her diaper bag with more than baby products, 2 loaded pistols, and marijuana. Well, see, the marijuana I don't care, but the 2 loaded pistols I think I would care. Unique Smith, 27 of Stone Mountain, was accused of carrying firearms and weed when she showed up at the back entrance of the Florida theme park. So, yeah, I would say that would be a problem. An Orange County deputy who responded to the report of a guest with a firearm and marijuana at 6:40 p.m. escorted Smith to a back office along with her baby, 7-year-old son, and the baby's father. And it says here another deputy who was working an off-duty shift at Epcot opened the diaper bag and observed the firearm in plain view, as well as a plastic baggie, gallon size, with what appeared to be cannabis. Smith admitted to him that the gun and the weed in the diaper bag belonged to her, and while searching the diaper bag, I noticed another firearm at the bottom of the bag. So they identified it as a .45. So Disney prohibits all guns, all guests, including those with concealed weapon permits, from bringing it into theme parks. Smith, who had less than 20 grams of marijuana, was charged with carrying a concealed weapon and possession of cannabis, both misdemeanors. So she was released from Orange County Jail on the 20th, and she went, I think it was the 19th that she got caught. I just think it's really stupid to go, if you're going to go to a family theme park, try to leave your firearms at home. That's my advice to any parents that are listening to the show. Just leave your firearms at home. So, it's funny.
What if she had a permit to carry?
Doesn't matter. The theme park has their own rules. In fact, I remember Mike Calta from Florida. I listened to his show a long time ago, and he was talking about he went to the theme park with his family, and he took his gun with him, but he was staying on premise. So he took his gun, but he didn't take it into the park. He just left it in the hotel room. When they left the hotel room, he left his gun in the hotel room, and he didn't know how he was going to get it back. So, you probably shouldn't take it with you. I don't know. Just a smart thing. I don't know. If you're a teacher, what is one thing you shouldn't do?
Uh-oh.
Professor announced retirement after racist and sexist tweets. But he died in the studio. Or died by suicide. Mike Adams hadn't been heard for days. Deputies found him dead inside his bedroom. So the guy was going to lose his job because of these racist comments he made. And the college professor whose rhetoric had been labeled vile and hateful by his own university, died by suicide. So what happened was he made these really bad racial comments and hateful comments about black people and about just various different things. He ended up shooting himself. Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, if the guy is that kind of person, those kind of people don't just go away. Those kind of people don't just change. Those kind of people are hateful and really bad for our world overall. So I think it's the best thing that could have happened for that particular person, because the rest of his life, when you're set in your ways, and I mean someone that at his age makes those kind of comments. I mean, if you were brought up wrong, like when I was brought up, I was brought up watching television, and it showed the stereotypes of people that were gay, and stereotypes of people that were black, and stereotypes of, I don't think we had Mexicans back then, but back when I was a kid, that's the only thing I knew was what I saw on TV. I can change because I can see what the world is and what really is that type of person. This person at his age, if he believes that at his age, he's gone through a life of hatred. I didn't go through a life of hatred. I went through fear because of the things you see on TV.
Right.
Because face it, in the 70s, a black man was the bad guy. He was always the perpetrator. He was, except when Mod Squad came out, and then we had Link, who was the really cool black guy. But until Jimmy Walker came out, and all these other people came out on their shows, you never saw a positive black guy. And that's sad to think of, but that's the way our nation was, and that's the way Hollywood portrayed them. And if it weren't for people like Jimmy Walker, but even Jimmy Walker, for the time it was different and accepted. But today, if you were to play Good Times today, it would be offensive to a lot of black people because it betrayed them, or it portrayed them as uneducated, as it didn't put them in a good light. And today's shows are much more favorable, and now you see gay people, black people, Puerto Rican people, Hispanic people of all kinds, all in every show in some capacity. So you pick a show and you look at it. Look at Walking Dead. I mean,
Right.
You have gay people. You have male, female to female, male to female. You have every possible orientation. You have every possible color, race, creed, whatever it is, portrayed in those situations. And it really is trying to right the wrongs of when we were kids. Because when we were kids, we didn't see this. The black filmmakers made things like Blackula, or things like I can't remember off the top of my head the shows, but if it weren't for those people, there wouldn't have been any black shows, or any shows of color, or any shows that were non-white. But now, the white people really aren't the major majority. Because of mixed marriages and mixed families and all that, fortunately, the white people aren't in charge anymore. So,
well, I mean, I can see that. I was watching. Well, I told you I've been binge watching Survivor. Some of the beginning.
I got somebody from Survivor that killed themselves too, I think.
And it was interesting because one of the episodes that I saw today, they were saying about, a lot of people were playing like they thought this one black guy was being racist. Well, the one thing I've noticed about African Americans is that, they are proud of their heritage.
Well, they should be.
They should, and so should white people.
Yeah, but white people have been in white people's pride ends up being racist most of the time.
I know.
And so I don't know. All right, next. This is kind of interesting and very important. The flag was lowered at the U.S. consulate in China. China's taking control of the U.S. consulate, and so U.S. is no longer got a voice in China.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, I saw this coming. When I was still working, when Trump took over, he said, we want fair trade, and this is what we're going to do to get fair trade. Well, China said, we do what we want, and heads are butting. Just recently, the U.S. took over the Chinese consulate in Texas, and now the Chinese took over the U.S. consulate. So, I mean, I could see it coming. The writing was on the wall. And, who's going to give up? Who's going to say anything first? I mean, China's going to take a major hit if, you think about it, everything that you buy, not everything, but the majority of the things you buy are Chinese.
Yeah.
Those masks that I ordered came from China.
Yep.
How many things did I buy recently? Well, I got 3 packages that I ordered months ago, just about last week, I think, and they all came from China. The Chinese make everything because they're so cheap. Whenever you talk to, whenever you see Shark Tank and they talk about let's make it overseas, they're talking about making it in China because the labor rate is really cheap. It's cheaper to buy. When you can buy something for $10 and have it delivered to your house, when you think, how much is freight going to be to ship it from China? But yet I bought tools to pick locks.
Right.
That were $10 for one, delivered. That's pretty cheap. And, things like that, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But that is indeed the way it is. So China's going to feel that because they're putting a major tariff on everything coming in from China. So just imagine what it would be if the tariffs weren't there. How much could it be to get that lockpick set?
Right.
If you're paying $10 for it, and the majority of that is tariffs, how much would it be if it didn't have tariffs on? How much now you see when cars, if there's a Chinese car, which I don't think there is, but that we're buying, but parts for Teslas were made in China. A lot of parts and stuff for Tesla, cheap clothes, like Amy said, come from. Oh, well, she says from India.
Some of them do.
Yeah.
That's over.
So, I don't know. It's really interesting when you look at that situation. That, you know, there's basically we're kind of, for lack of a bigger or better way of looking at it, we're basically showing our penises and seeing who has the biggest one. And right now we're saying we don't want your stuff if you're not gonna have fair trade with us. In other words, do you understand what fair trade is, by the way? Okay, I'll explain it anyway, because fair trade is, let's use $1 million, because that's not at all what it is, but let's say we buy $1 million from China and they don't buy anything from us. Well, our money's going out, but none of our money's coming back.
Right.
Fair trade is Trump is saying everyone who's ever been president has never really made a big deal out of China's fair trade. He's saying, as a business, as the United States as a business, we should be looking at fair trade, because when the money's going out and not coming back in, we owe them a lot of money. Because, you know, they're holding these bills that we're not necessarily paying, and they're just racking up the interest. However, if fair trade, we buy $1 million from you, you buy $1 million from us. It's only fair.
You would think.
And it's not fair trade. And that's what the whole deal is. And Trump's standing on that, saying, I want fair trade. That's the kind of business. But a politician wouldn't be going for that. A politician would say, all right, well, your money, it's no big deal. And we'll just create new money to pay for the old money that we don't have.
Is that why there's a national coin shortage?
That is, well, there's definitely, our debt is really high compared to other countries. So.
All right. Well, I hate to do this, but I'm scooting out.
Well, go ahead and scoot, see if I care.
Well, I know you don't.
Well, I do care, because now I got to do the show alone.
Sorry. I just have that thing called a job.
What's that?
I don't know.
You do know, because you do it. I don't.
I just make it look good.
Okay. All right. Well.
You gonna turn my mic down?
I guess. Jeez, you want everything from me.
Yep.
I'm glad you can't talk to now. I can say whatever I want now. Anyway, let's see. All right. So now they can see the whole picture. All right. We still got a lot of stuff to go. Delta turns its flight around after multiple passengers refuse to wear their masks. This is a big deal. This is a lot of other countries, or a lot of other flights, a lot of other companies that do flights have been doing the same thing, but this just happens to be the one that I found. So what happened was 2 people on this flight refused to wear their masks, and Delta decided that they were going to turn the flight around and not just deal with them and the refusal. So that's what happened. It says here, details are emerging over why Delta Airlines flight to Atlanta was turned around and returned to Detroit on Thursday. Once again, face masks are the issue. According to reports, 2 passengers refused to wear face masks during the flight, and a mandate for virtually every airline, and the plane returned to Detroit. A Detroit spokesman said that the flight was delayed because passengers were non-compliant with crew's instructions, and the flight did take off again and land in Atlanta after being delayed by the return to Detroit. it's happening more and more. Everyone knows what the deal is, and you got to comply with whatever the deal is, or you're going to run into these kind of issues. But I'd be real careful about this kind of thing, because this is the kind of thing that could get you probably in more trouble than, because you're returning the whole flight, not just, it's not just you. You're gonna be dealing with everyone in that flight. I'll tell you, I'd be upset if I had to return back because somebody didn't want to wear their mask. That's a horrible thing. So then, out of Ohio, we've got a rare blue lobster was fished out of an Ohio Red Lobster. So Red Lobster gets their stuff flown in every day, I would imagine, and to keep it fresh. And this time, when they unpacked it, they found this blue lobster, which you don't find too many of those. So what did they do with it? Well, they didn't eat it. They decided that they were going to give it to the Akron Zoo. So Akron has got a new lobster. So it says it could have ended up being between fried shrimp and seared scallops, or squeezed between a cheesy biscuit and a mound of garlic linguine Alfredo. But a rare lobster has a new home in the Akron Zoo after being discovered at a Red Lobster last week. It says here, on Tuesday in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, the location of this one Red Lobster, it says they were unpacking an airlifted delivery of live lobsters when Laura Jones noticed a strangely colored shape mixed in with the mottled bunch. At first, it looked like it was fake. It was definitely something marvelous to look at. It says here what they were looking at was a blue American lobster floating among the common red namesakes of the seafood empire. Some researchers think it was 1 in 2 million lobsters that are blue. So you can actually see that in the picture. Yeah, that would be awesome to see something like that. I would think that would be pretty rare. So that finishes up this segment. Let's see here. I think that's all I have in this segment. There is, there's one other thing. So there's a lawsuit that was settled. Nick Sandmann is the person that was in the lawsuit, and he was against the Washington Post. Now, you would think that the Washington Post would probably win this lawsuit. $250 million worth of lawsuit. But what happened was, this guy here, the teen, was here. It says here there was botched coverage over the 2019 encounter with a native elder. So what happened was Sandmann declared victory in a tweet for his 18th birthday. Says it was unclear how much the newspaper settled for, but on 2019 they filed a $250 million lawsuit. I'm sure he didn't get that much, but even if he did, it says here, what's that sound from? Oh, okay, well, I guess we're going to see it. So here's the deal. He was in this video clip, and trying to see if they're going to say what it was. Didn't really tell us anything. Okay, so it's a defamation suit, and what happened was that Sandmann and a group of his Covington classmates were vilified on social media after they were filmed wearing Make America Great Again hats after an anti-abortion rally while being yelled at by demonstrators. So as you can see in this picture, Sandmann was singled out on footage of his confrontation with the Native American activist Nathan Phillips and was picked up by CNN and other outlets who claimed the incident was racially motivated. Footage released showed it was Covington students who were being harassed. In the subsequent tweet Friday, Sandman fired a warning shot at the Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. We have settled with WAPO and CNN. The fight isn't over, and it says 2 down and 6 to go. Don't hold your breath, Jack. And just basically, the Native Americans were yelling at the kids. The kids weren't doing anything, and so they were being sued because they were vilified by the news, saying that they were harassing the Native Americans. Hey, more power to them. I think 270 million or 250 million was a bit much, though. I would think that you would, couldn't have been hurt that badly by the bad publicity, but hey, whatever. But the news companies shouldn't be doing that anyway. They should have been maybe a little bit better at what they're reporting on. All right. Oh, this is a really off-the-wall thing. Says here, an armed protester was shot dead helping his quadruple amputee girlfriend, according to the mother. So, this is one reason you don't want to protest, because people don't really... They think it's a license to shoot people. But anyway... let me get this done here. So, Black Lives Matter. Protester shot and killed in Austin, Texas, Saturday. He was identified as Garrett Foster, and his mom said he was pushing his quadruple amputee fiance's wheelchair before he was gunned down. The shot was plowed. A man who plowed his vehicle into protesters shortly before 10 p.m. Saturday. Foster pulled out a rifle and approached the driver, at which point the motorist gunned him down. But the dead man's mother questioned the narrative on the Good Morning America Sunday. Sheila Foster said her son was pushing her fiancé, Whitney Mitchell, through an intersection when the gunman opened fire. And this gentleman got out of the car and started firing shots. And my son was shot 3 times. The mom didn't say whether Foster had a gun, but noted he was licensed to carry. Garrett Foster was rushed to Dell Seton Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Police say Foster and Mitchell were among the protesters at the 4th Street and Congress Avenue when the car barreled into the crowd. Eyewitnesses say that there were people around the car yelling, people sounding like they were frightened, but they said that the driver pointed the gun out the window and opened fire. Foster dropped to the ground when he was shot. Austin police said that the driver was in custody and cooperating with police. About 50 protesters gathered outside the police department early Sunday. So it's really strange, because I'm really confused by this, but it does sound like the protester really was not the issue with this. So I don't know, but that would be really sad if the person was killed and didn't really do anything. But there's kind of protests. A lot of things happen. A lot of things happen that shouldn't happen in those things. To think that this person was just pushing his quadruple amputee's fiance's wheelchair. It's sad. It's sad. It's beyond sad. So, I don't know. But it makes me kind of sad that that person has lost his life for something that, he should have been still alive today. Let's see. Got some COVID stuff, I think, here. Yeah, this is really weird. 8 San Quentin death row inmates die of COVID-19. I mean, if they're in San Quentin, they couldn't really be left out on the streets, so if they were, and since they were death row, I mean, actually it saved us a lot of money. If they were going to die anyway. I mean, that's not a good way to look at it, but I guess it's better than feeling sorry for them. It says here, more than a dozen inmates have died in California's San Quentin, including 8 on death row since June from COVID-19. Convicted murderer John Beams, 67, was the latest inmate to die from complications due to COVID. And Beams, who died Tuesday, had been on death row since November 1995 after being found guilty of killing a 15-year-old child. I don't feel sorry for him. If he killed a 15-year-old child, he should have died before this. I mean, geez, he's been in jail for 25 years. That's ridiculous. The murderer's conviction and sentence were upheld in 2007 and ruled that Beams was at fault for hitting Cassie Manns so hard that her liver nearly split in half and she bled to death. California's oldest prison has been experienced the worst of the COVID-19 outbreaks, with the facility reporting 868 cases and 15 deaths. That's a lot of people that died. Since the pandemic hit the prison, just under 2/3 of its 3,300 inmates have tested positive. That's amazing. I don't know. I don't feel sorry for them, though, because, I mean, they're death row inmates. They should be dead. So, that, I can't feel real bad. As much as I don't know. I just think that it's, that's kind of like the maybe only good thing about COVID. So, what are you doing? Buddy? I hear you. I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something. Anyway. Yeah, it's kind of, it's really, I can't feel sorry for that. There is a new map of the COVID, according to this. Here's our great map of the U.S. They confirmed 4 million cases of COVID in the U.S. There have been 144,367 deaths. That's an amazing amount of people that have died. And if we look at the actual chart here, 1 in 10 deaths. There's only 3 states that are I'm sorry, 4. Vermont's one of them. We've got Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, and Vermont that are within 1 to 10 deaths. Within 11 to 100 deaths, we've got Maine, New Hampshire, I believe Rhode Island, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, which I thought is really odd because they had an upsurge, Utah, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Arizona, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and the rest of them are a lot higher. It says here we're talking about more than 1,000 in all the rest of the states. So that's something to think about. As of July 23rd, there have been 144,367 deaths just in the U.S. But more than 4 million have been tested positive. And that's really only the people that we have tested that we know have been positive. Because there's lots of people that are probably not even tested that are positive. So that scares me. That scares me a lot because, like I said, the rest of the countries involved are dropping numbers. We're not. We're going up. But the good news is that
At Farmers, we know how nice it
Farmers,
is to save on your auto.
we know how to save. The good news is that the COVID trials have entered a new phase. They're in phase 3. So hopefully we're going to see a change. So
Well, we're going to start with the latest on the coronavirus emergency. The United States is now reporting more than 4.2 million cases. But there's new vaccine hope this morning. Tens of thousands of Americans have volunteered for Moderna's large-scale human vaccine trial. It's getting underway at locations across 30 states and Washington, D.C.
So we're going to speak exclusively with Moderna's founder in just a moment. But first, Victor Oquendo starts us off in Miami with the latest. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Robin. A vaccine cannot come soon enough. Today, Florida will likely top the 6,000 death mark. Hospitals.
in Florida, they have 500,000 cases, just in Florida. That's 1/4 of the cases that are total, almost. And in deaths, they have 5,800 deaths in Florida. That's just Florida. So they really need to step it up and try to take care of things.
Space, it is stretched very thin. There was just one available ICU bed here at Miami's largest hospital. But this morning we begin with that encouraging news about a possible vaccine.
This morning, a major milestone in the battle against COVID-19. For the first time in the U.S., Phase 3 vaccine trials are now getting underway. 30,000 Americans are expected to volunteer for Moderna vaccine clinical trials, hoping the vaccine will be the answer to defeating the coronavirus, which has now infected more than 16 million people worldwide.
16 million people.
That the president steps up and tries to do something good for the world at this point.
73-year-old Jeffrey Balkin is in good health and says he's not nervous at all about the risks.
To me, it's obvious that a vaccine is the holy grail.
The need for a vaccine growing more urgent as the country sees more than 1,000 COVID deaths a day for 5 consecutive days. Now, FEMA sending a letter asking medical professionals to help 5 hard-hit states, Arizona, Louisiana, Texas, California, and Florida, which now has the second most cases in the country. Despite that, Florida officials are considering reopening bars, but experts warn against it.
If they open up bars now, they're basically saying goodbye to schools for all of the fall because the caseloads will be too high. And second, in this pandemic, it's not clear to me whether we can open up bars safely anywhere in our country.
Some teachers are now threatening to quit rather than return for in-person classes as the state sees an alarming surge in infections among children. Nearly 8,000 under the age of 17 testing positive in the past week.
That's an amazing amount.
Leah Wampler's 8-year-old son Zane is in the ICU in Miami fighting the rare multi-inflammatory syndrome associated with COVID-19 in children. He started feeling tired one day, then woke up with a fever that hit 105 degrees.
He's in a lot of pain. He's super nauseous. He was throwing up for days, but now it's the pain. You never want to see your kids so incoherent that they can barely talk to you, ever, or see them that sick.
Zane had no COVID symptoms and tested negative for the virus, but positive for the antibodies.
If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said absolutely, send him back to school. But at this point, it's not cut and dry.
This as new outbreaks linked to gatherings grow. At least 35 lifeguards on the Jersey Shore testing positive, now told to self-isolate. And the testing crisis deepening. 14 states are now reporting problems, some waiting up to 19 days for results.
That to me is just amazing. And the thing about the New Jersey thing is that 35 lifeguards, that's a lot of lifeguards. I can't imagine if it was just one beach or if it's all beaches or whatever, but like on the beach that I went to, it was nobody was wearing masks, but everybody was far enough apart that you could feel safe. But I'm sure that there were other ones that were a lot worse than the one I was at. So, yeah, it's kind of scary when you don't know what the what's going on. I mean, if it's not the same for everyone, if the risks are different for everyone, or I should say the not the risks, but well, the risks are definitely. I guess what it is if the symptoms, I should say, are not the same for everyone, or some people test positive, but they're not feeling any of the effects, and some people apparently test negative and still have it. So we really got to be careful. Hey, Melanie, how you doing? So to me, it's really important that everybody needs to be sure that they do the right thing, and these trials are going to be key to everything. Dr. Fauci was talking about these trials and was saying, this is stage 3, so hopefully, I mean, they're going to be testing real people now, so I guess it's kind of really important that this comes off right, and that the people, they can get the right test results, and hopefully it'll work out where everyone wins on this, and we don't have to fight this anymore. It's just ridiculous how crazy it's getting out there. Like I said, our country's the only one that's going up in these numbers, and it's because everyone feels their rights are being screwed with. But it's not a political thing. It's what you got to do. So, but Fauci says that the phase 3 trial is the best we in the United States have ever done, and he was saying the first injection for the Moderna, I don't know if it's Moderna or Moderna vaccine, in partnership with the National Institutes of Health, happened at 6:45 a.m. on Monday in Savannah, Georgia. The trial aims to enroll about 30,000 people from 89 dispersed sites across the U.S. over the next couple of months. Fauci called it a truly historic event in the history of vaccinology. On a call with reporters, he said that emerging data from the trial should be available in November or December. Geez, I hope it doesn't take that long. And insist that that despite the speed of the development, there's no compromise at all with regard to safety or scientific integrity. It's a shame that the people of the United States didn't listen to him earlier, because this could have been not as bad if people had listened to him. It's the first possible coronavirus vaccine to enter the phase 3 trial in the U.S. Phase 1 typically looks at a small number of people to see if the vaccine is safe. Phase 2 looks at an expanded group of people again to access safety and see if the vaccine works. And Phase 3, the vaccine is tested in thousands of people to determine efficiency before seeking regulatory approval. If the vaccine remains on track, Moderna previously said it will be able to deliver approximately 500 doses per year and possibly 1 billion doses per year starting in 2021. The company announced earlier this month that healthy adults that were given the vaccine in phase 1 tolerated generally well and all created neutralizing antibodies. They developed a robust immune response with more than half of reporting mild to moderate side effects, including fatigue, chills, headache, muscle pain, and pain at the injection site. Those side effects are similar ones to many other vaccines that have been approved. 3 other vaccines are part of the U.S. government's Operation Warp Speed that are nearing the phase 3 trials. One by University of Oxford and AstraZeneca, one by Johnson & Johnson, and another by Novavax. One by Pfizer and BioNTech is not part of the Operation Warp Speed and is expected to start its phase 3 trial soon. The one I don't trust is Johnson & Johnson, because that's the one that killed my wife. So, other than that, it's a good sign that it's in phase 3, that these are in phase 3. So hopefully it'll actually be beyond phase 3 shortly, and then we can all get back to living, not having to be concerned with wearing our masks or not wearing our masks, or people that will wear their masks or people that won't wear their masks. So hopefully that will all come to fruition soon. So okay. So now I want to talk about some fun stuff. I want to talk about some cars and things like that are much more interesting than viruses. So I just found out what this meant. I never heard this before. Tesla gets coal rolled by a pickup truck who brags about it. He hates Tesla. So I've never heard the term coal rolled, and I wondered what it was all about. But apparently, I mean, I knew that people don't like Teslas for various reasons, and this was one person that apparently doesn't like Teslas. So what happens is someone will coal roll you by getting in front of you and then blasting you with residue of coal. Tesla 3 driver got coal rolled by a pickup, and he admitted targeting the vehicle because it was a Tesla, showing the hate for automaker is real. Coal rolling is when a modified diesel pickup spews black, sooty exhaust fumes while accelerating and targeting people on bikes or cars with fumes. Tesla owners have been previously reported pickup truck owners trying to coal roll their cars, seemingly because they were Tesla vehicles or electric cars. One incident was caught on camera earlier this year. When reporting on several of these instances filmed by Tesla drivers over the past few years, I get a lot of pushback from people saying it wasn't intentional. However, in this instance, the pickup driver was undeniably targeting the Model 3 since he filmed a video of himself and posted on YouTube with the description, "Good old Cummings rolling coal on a Tesla." And an electric reader tipped us of the video, so you can actually see the video of this guy who coal rolled. It's so silly because why does anybody care that somebody has a car that isn't, was removed by the, I see, they removed it from the upload. I was actually anxious to see it. So I guess they were given some pressure about that. In the video you can hear the driver, who's going by Matthew Brown on YouTube, saying, "F your Tesla," and he just flipped me off. So he posted the comments, "I love how I get more hate coal rolling coal on a Tesla than I do on rolling coal on Black Lives Matter protesters." Sure enough, he has another video on his channel where he rolls coal on protesters. Yeah, for some reason there is hatred, because not only do we get coal rolled, I've never been, at least I've never noticed someone coal rolling on me, but they have another thing called icing. And what they do in icing is they'll actually try to block the chargers. So I've actually seen this happen. I've actually seen pickups drive and they look for Tesla superchargers, and they'll park through, they'll usually park sideways so that they block a couple of the chargers so that you can't charge your car. And I think that's really a shame. But yeah, it's just weird to, like, here you go, you see this guy, he's got a trailer and he's blocking all these chargers so that we can't get in to use them. So yeah, those kind of people are just awful, because they're not doing it to, they don't, like, we don't do anything that harmed their use of gas cars, but they'll do something to stop us from charging ours for some reason. I don't understand why. But anyway, the term icing is a term electric car drivers use to describe someone with an internal combustion engine vehicle blocking the EV charging slot. Seems more common with trucks occupying EV spots, but it can be any vehicle that really isn't charging. It could be akin to me charging or parking in an EV gas pump, an EV car at a gas pump, and just leaving it while shopping. The effect is much worse on electric drivers, as there are fewer EV chargers than gas pumps. So here's another one here at an I-70 station where I got iced. There were literally 24 gas pumps to 4 chargers. That didn't even include the huge slew of diesel pumps on the other side. And it says if our electric vehicle charging spots got blocked, we had no other option but wait if we are low on range. And it just kind of is stupid. I mean, it just is weird that the people have so much anger at us because we have electric cars or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. You know, when I drive, I don't really pay attention to what the other cars are doing, but if I try to go charge and there's someone parked in the spot, it makes it difficult if you can't get a space. And I've been to a lot of places like in Maryland and DC where you're in actually New Jersey, where you only have so many spots. You might have like 20 spots, but those 20 spots are taken up because there are so many electric cars there. Around here, it's not as big of a deal because there aren't as many electric cars around here yet, and so it's just kind of weird that anybody really makes that big of a deal out of it, and that they got to block the chargers. So it's a shame that people don't have better things to do with their lives than try to make a point of some sort. So I don't know. I just saw this and I thought it was just another in people being stupid category. So let's see, we'll get rid of this one. I don't know, did I play this the other? I don't think I did. And actually, here's a woman that actually did it. She parked in. They call her a Karen because that woman that refused to wear a mask, even though she should wear a mask in a store, and she threw a fit. Well, this is a Karen that parked in a space that she shouldn't have parked in, and there's lots of other spaces that she could have parked in, but because she felt she deserved to be able to park in one of the charging stations, she threw a fit. And it was a confrontation between a Tesla owner and a woman driving a gas car, and it was caught on camera. And it resurfaces the debate as to whether or not they should be allowed to park in those spaces. The incident started after a woman blocked a charge station with her Hyundai and was called out on the action. The event took place in Sherway Gardens retail shopping mall, and it says here Tesla currently owns the retail space at the mall, including the charging stations that are reserved for test drive vehicles and Tesla owners that need to get additional range during their time inside the mall. The space that's reserved for Tesla is marked with a sign that clearly states that battery electric cars may occupy the spot. However, the woman in question said she couldn't see the sign or read the sign, and she parked there because it was open. So the video's here. Let's see if I think this is the video.
Oh, please take this. You're just. You know what?
I mean, she's the only non-electric car, and she took the one space. Now, security came out and told her to remove her car. And she, of course, is a social media person. She's saying the young people who think they're all bad.
My goodness. Nothing better to do with your time, because this is what your generation does. You go on Grindr and do hookups. You show every part of your body. You have no self-respect. Oh my goodness. None whatsoever.
Okay. This is...
No. He comes and tries to tell me what I can do. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I can't see. Need to make it bigger.
Need to make it bigger. Or, I don't know, you could park in a regular space. Enter Elantra. I don't know. She has every excuse in the book why she should be able to park there, but none of them are good excuses. Oh, people amaze me. They really amaze me. But, hey, they're out there. Again, it's someone that feels entitled. They could park anywhere they want, according to their beliefs. Let's see, where can I don't know where can I... Oh, they don't have a spot where I can... Oh, I thought I had a spot where I could do this. Alright. I'll just do it this way. I don't know. Someone needs to park in the gas places so that they can complain about their us taking their spaces. But anyway, all right. So next story. This is a thing I saw just the other day. Let's see. Hopefully it comes up. There we go. Would you take a self-driving taxi? Would you trust a self-driving taxi where you're in the back seat and the taxi's doing all the work? And would you trust something like that? I'm not sure that I would at this point because I've only experienced the stuff that my car could do, and I wouldn't trust my car to be 100% in control. But supposedly, these are now available in China. It's interesting to me that they are that far into the thing because there's a lot of ifs when it comes to self-driving, such as, let's say you come up to an intersection and the light's green, but your car goes through, and does it see somebody who's speeding through the intersection? I don't know. I'd be scared to see that, but that has to be something they have to look forward to, or they have to look at, and they have to, let's say you're going down the street and, there's a couple things that come to mind with the self-driving thing that I'm just not ready for, I think. It says the new self-driving taxi service has just launched in China. It's known as AutoX Robotaxi. It's already in operation in Shanghai. The new robo-taxis are a result of a partnership between Alibaba, which I believe is it's the equal to Amazon in Asia, and AutoX, which is an autonomous driving technology company headquartered in San Jose, California. It says while the concept of driving cars has been in development, self-driving cars has been in development for a while, with experimenting coming from Google, Uber, Waymo, and more. It's the first time autonomous cars have been available in China. That's not the only unique thing about this launch, though. It's the first time that ride-sharing platforms can use self-driving vehicles in China. It's the first time that self-driving taxis will be allowed to reach. This is the amazing part. It's the first time that self-driving taxis will be allowed to reach the maximum of 50 miles per hour non-highway speed. So, man, one thing to think of self-driving taxis that are going to do 30, 25, something like that, but you're talking about 50 miles per hour. I don't think I'd feel that comfortable with that. Somehow I just kind of think that you're looking for... I don't know how safe it is because I'd never been in one, but I don't know that I'd want to be going 50. Because if you see something, if something goes out, if something gets short-circuited, I just don't know about that. That truly does scare me a little bit. Because I'm thinking, man, there's just, you're locked in. And I just don't know that I'm ready for that yet. I would have to feel that, feel comfortable with it. At least with my car, I know that if something doesn't go right, it alerts me to take the wheel and I can take control of it. I don't feel too bad about that. I feel comfortable with that. But I don't know if I feel comfortable about letting it take control, complete control. So I somehow have a problem with that. But I guess they're going to get, it says, how do you get one? First you got to live in Shanghai. They're in beta out there. That's the only place you'll find them. Hailing a taxi, a robo-taxi, is pretty simple. It's comparable to any ride-hailing service. You simply book it through an app, and within minutes the taxi will appear. Users can choose between humans and robo-taxis, or they can choose both, meaning they'll get the nearest one available. You can freely choose your starting and destination. Okay, I understand that. The program launched in beta in early April, and they plan to have 100 robo-taxis on the street by the time the test ends. So, I don't know. They have a website. Let's see here. Oh, I can't get into it. Apparently, it's not a true website. Well, it doesn't have an English version of it, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, I'd kind of be concerned about that. I want to make sure that I'm going to get to my destination. It would be kind of weird to think that I can't quite see it yet. I don't think we're at that place where we can trust the car 100% yet. And I do trust my car, but I just think that's way beyond what I think. There's a new Bronco on the way. We've got a new Bronco that's actually being built to compete against the Jeep, the new Jeep. So it's fine. It's fun because I had a Bronco back in the 90s, and I love that Bronco. But this one is going to be a lot more interesting to me, and who knows? It may actually be pretty cool.
There's still some wild out there.
Ooh.
Those grayed out sections on maps that map makers haven't gotten to yet.
Sounds like William Shatner.
Places where cell service and calendar reminders don't exist.
I'd like that place.
But you have to get out there and look for it.
I like that. There's an old Bronco.
You need some.
I remember when that first came out. I wanted one. I wanted one like this one here that was the original type.
Something that's just as wild as the wild.
These new ones look really cool.
You need something that can look adventure in the eye and give it a firm handshake. Something built with the toughness of an F-Series and the spirit of a Mustang. Something that's not happy until it takes you through whatever creek or snow or mud or mountain trail or dune or logging road or landmark with death in its name. You need a Bronco.
Yes, I need a Bronco.
Built as wild as what you're looking for.
So the one actually looks like a Jeep. Actually, a couple of them look like Jeeps. The four-door looks kind of like my Jeep, and I like the one in front, the one without the top and everything. That looks pretty Jeepish, but I don't know. Be fun. I guess we're going to see that next. I think it's going to come out next year. I want to say 2021. Yeah, check out 2021 Bronco. It says here they're teasing, spying, and speculating on the revived Ford Bronco. The curtain should come off July 13th with all three versions of the off-roader. It'll be revealed, and it looks like a really fun vehicle. I mean, if I were to buy another 4x4, that would possibly be the one. So, it definitely would. Oh, wait, here we go. What's this? Do they have it? Is this the video that shows the new ones? Let's see. Or is this the same one?
When we introduced the Bronco nearly 55 years ago,
We fulfilled an unmet need for those who were looking for something different.
So our customers were looking for something rugged. They were looking for a vehicle that they could work on the ranch with, but that would also take them to a trout stream or to a trailhead. The project name was GOAT, or GOAT, for goes over any terrain.
The origins of the Bronco date back to World War II, when the Ford Motor Company built more than 270,000 Jeeps for the armed services. By the late 50s and early 60s, Army vets who appreciated the ruggedness of the Army Jeep were buying them at Army surplus auctions and using them on their ranches and their farms.
I didn't know that Ford made the original Jeep. That's kind of funny because that's a whole new, a whole different department now, being its own company. So here's another Bronco too. That's 11 minutes. I don't really want to spend 11 minutes on it, but I really think that this vehicle could be pretty cool. Let's see here. I'm going to fast forward this to what the new ones look like. Let's see.
Grand's Halo model and proudly traces its roots back to the original Broncos. For those who want even more capability and versatility, our first ever Bronco 4-door expands Bronco's brand's off-road customer reach. And with Bronco Sport,
now these are just the prototypes, so they're not colored or anything.
The brand immediately
just have
reaches
sensors or
the
whatever.
fast-growing class of small SUVs with an authentic off-road capability, durability, and ingenuity.
We've got a rich history of off-roading. We know how to do this. The Bronco, when it first was introduced, set a whole new chinning bar for what off-road SUV really was. We've proven our durability throughout the years. We're going to take all of those learnings and knowledge and we're going to put it into a brand new product.
Coming with the return of Bronco is a great new online community called Bronco Nation. This is a singular online community for Bronco lovers and fans to go to.
Now the one I had was the full-size Bronco that was really the monster when I had that. And actually it was a two-door and it was huge. These look like they're a little bit better. They're not the huge monsters that they were. They're kind of more like a car.
More about Bronco and the Bronco lifestyle. Bronco offers to experience and learn about the capability, the unparalleled durability of the vehicle. We've tested it out in the wild in some extreme environments such as Johnson Valley. It describes the design DNA that's purposeful and true to the design of all.
I mean, the pictures have been shown, I think I may have shown them a couple weeks ago, but let's see here. Refined Bronco, that probably is it. Oh, there it is. There's one of them. Yeah, that looks like a pretty cool truck. I like that. It says here, okay, so you got all three of them there. Midnight Edition. But I like the old smaller ones. The old smaller ones were what I wanted, but I had gotten this one, I bought it at an auction one year. I bought it for, I think $900 or something like that, and it was the big one with the big fat tires and everything, and that was fun to drive. I almost wrecked it one time because I was going around the corner and it was a little wet, and the thing, it definitely doesn't have the traction on wet roads as it does on regular roads, but it was a lot of fun. I liked that car. I had that, I sold it after I couldn't afford to fix it up anymore. It didn't make sense to fix it up anymore, so I sold it to a guy that wanted to rebuild it. And I sold it for probably what I could have sold just the tires for, but back then I just wanted to get rid of it because I didn't want to insure it anymore and all that other stuff. But yeah, that's here's your if you were to buy one, the Ford versus the Jeep. Let's see, the Bronco would be the blue states. Seems like the Bronco would take the win on that. But I think Jeep makes a great product too, and especially with the newer Jeeps that are out there, they're pretty hot vehicles. So yeah, if you're into 4x4ing, there you go. There's your chance to pick up a Bronco, or you could stick with a Jeep. My Jeep I've never four-wheeled anywhere, but I'm actually considering it's a 2000 and has about 130,000 miles on it. That's pretty good. That's like 13 miles. Wait, no, it's less than 13 miles. 13,000 miles a year. So let's see what else we got here. I think we got. Is that the one I just did? I think that's the one I did. Official picture. Oh, here we go. There's the official picture of the 3 vehicles. So, yeah, it's funny because it doesn't look like when I was a kid, the idea was to jack your car up as high as possible and put the biggest tires on it and monster truck it. But these are back down to actual cars that could be 4-wheel drive instead of monster trucks. So I'd wonder how it does on terrain though, with each of the different ones, or if there's a difference between the performance of the one versus the other. Since they have the 3 different models, one may be a longer wheelbase and get a better performance. I don't know. Just be interesting. But yeah, if you're into 4x4ing, that's something you got to look at and see if it's something that would interest you. But I think my 4x4 days are pretty much over. If I get another 4x4, it'll be only to haul my equipment. And nowadays you can get that with a car, so, or an all-wheel drive. 4x4s, or at least you can turn the 4x4 off. And all-wheel drive, you're looking at, it's always going to be on. But in today's market, sometimes the all-wheel drives run, can get a better mileage than the 4x4s. I don't know how it works, but this is interesting. I had this a while ago. This is the cheapest electric car out there. I had this for a while. I've had this since June sometime, but I found it interesting because I talk about electric cars and I talk about what would you pay for an electric car, and people tell me, well, you paid a ton of money for your electric car. I can't afford one. Well, here's one you could afford. It's the cheapest electric car out there. It's $1,200. That's about as cheap as you're going to get of any car. I don't think I bought a car that was cheaper than that except when I was a kid. But this car, it's $1,200. It says here you got to buy it from China. Their e-commerce site is Alibaba. We talked about them a little earlier. And it says it's an amazing machine. As soon as this became available, this guy unboxed the car and saw its unexpected features. And even more, he drove it. But it wasn't until I looked under the tech to see how the Changli, which is the name of the car manufacturer's Changli Nameka, was a great value. Got to have a 11 horsepower Changli, and he went to buy the cheapest car in the world from Alibaba, ship it across the ocean to the U.S., and deal with all the customs paperwork, truck the car down to his place in North Carolina, show the world what the wackiest form of EV ownership looks like. Amazingly, despite uncertainty within the company, and despite the coronavirus and related economic turmoil, he pulled it off. The car that began life in China now sits in his backyard in Chapel Hill, where the machine immediately blew us away with the impressive features. So here's some of the features. The car value continues beyond just the interior gadgets like the MP3 player and the backup camera. The Changli offers surprisingly hardware under the skin. Not too crazy, but it's far, far more advanced than what Jason and I were expecting, which was a porta potty on a crude frame with a little motor driving a single wheel versus a chain. Let's start by looking at the suspension. So, according to this, it has a track bar, a radius arm and frame mount, radius arm, another radius arm in the axle mount, and It says here, to understand why Changli's front suspension is so impressive, you have to consider the fact that most entry-level golf carts, which tend to cost 5 times what the Changli costs, offer much cruder designs. Take a look at the photo above. It shows Changli's front suspension, which consists of a basic dead axle and kingpins for allowing the steering knuckles to rotate, which is quite simple. The surprising thing here is that the fact that it uses leaf springs, which are cheap in part because they only absorb bumps, but they also act as structural elements against lateral and longitudinal loads. Changli decided to use a three-link suspension design. It consists of 2 lower arms and a track bar. So track bar is there, and we got an intermediate shaft and a steering rack. The radius arms locate the axle longitudinally, and because they mount to the axle in 2 locations, they limit the axle wrap under braking and accelerating. If this were live axle with brakes, that is, and the track bar shown above the steering intermediate shaft and the rack and pinion steering setup locates axle laterally, which is, it says, i.e. cross car. It's exactly the same suspension you would find in a Toyota Land Cruiser and last generation of Land Rover Defenders, and the modern Suzuki Jimmy, which the front suspension is shown below. So basically they took all the technology of more expensive cars and they have put it in this car, and I think it's pretty neat for a $1,200 car. I mean, you figure you might have spent another $500 to $1,000 to ship it over to the U.S., but let's say $2,000, you're getting a car that is pretty advanced for what it is. Like they said, it takes the golf cart that you would spend, say, $5,000 for a new golf cart, and I've seen them at $5,000 for a used one, and you're getting a real car, a small real car, but a real car that'll do everything that you would pay thousands and thousands of dollars for. So it says here, for comparison to this radius arm setup, here's a look at a basic golf car suspension. So they're talking about an easy-go suspension. So it's pretty basic in what it does, but it doesn't have any suspension. I mean, it's basically a golf cart, so it just has real basic stuff, but I don't think it doesn't have springs for suspension or anything. What seems like a more common setup is one from a club car, which does have an upper arm instead of a solid axle. In other words, it has independent suspension design. But it really is pretty advanced for what you're getting. So says here, there are plenty of golf carts out there that use coilovers, but they don't cost $1,200. In fact, the Changli is so cheap, but uses a coilover front suspension with a 3-link, which to me this doesn't mean anything. But I mean, I guess what they're doing is they're saying you get a lot of technology for the price, and I can't imagine how fast this car is, or it may not go very fast. So how could Changli possibly justify the more expensive suspension design, especially considering that numerous pickup truck manufacturers have stuck with leaf springs over coils, in fact, to save money? How is it the cheapest EV in the world decided to keep get rid of the leaf pack for 3-link coils? I'm assuming economies of scale, of course, and labor costs made it feasible. By now, it should be clear that the Changli's suspension is far from sophisticated, but after all, it's a solid axle design based on basic compared to fully designed, independent design. It's surprisingly complex for the money. I mean, $930 for a car, $1,200 with batteries, is so dirt cheap that the suspension setup shares more in common than the Suzuki Jimny with the Jimmy than it does with a golf cart. So I just think it's interesting. It's interesting that someone can make a car for that cheap, and like I'd really like to know other specs of that information, like distance and stuff like that. It says here, one of the most common things about the Changli is the fact that the rear axle actually contains a functional differential, and they were expecting basic exposed chain drive, just one wheel, but no, there's a differential. That means in the snow you have a better chance of getting out of the snow. Granted, there's a chain between the 60 volt and 11 or 1.1 horsepower DC motor and the differential, but that chain is contained in a housing and apparently rotates a sprocket that would, on a normal differential, be the ring gear. And then they show you the difference. And of course, this stuff is way above me as far as. I wonder how hard it would be to service it, and if you could service it. So the electronics really look basic, and it's under the rear load floor and accessible by lifting the rear carpeting. Yes, it has carpeting for a $1,200 car. And then you can just plug it into the basic, really, you plug it into the regular, okay, so it says here the black box, which they show, is basically a converter for the batteries, and says among other things handles the shifter and the pedal shifter, and it says here the controller is a small DC to DC converted, goes from 48 to 72 volt inputs into the 12 volt outputs of the radios and the lights and accessories. It really looks pretty basic. I mean, the batteries are in series, so the driver's seat, there's 5 12 volt lead acid batteries wired in a series for a total of 60 volts. They simply sit in the rectangular compartment under the seat and held down by a big bar spanning the between the threaded rods. I actually would dig one of these things. I think it'd be fun. It'd be fun to drive. But it's really small. I mean, it's really, really small. The metal stampings are quite large. I see no welds or gaps. Let's see here. Other impressive hardware. If you look closely at the photo, you'll see a dog. You also see the curved front glass, and it says nice frit bands and LED projector type lights for headlights. You'll note that the wheels are aluminum, not stamped steel with the hubcaps, and they're held in place to the hubs with 4 single piece lug nuts. The Smart for 2 and other actual cars only use 3 lugs, and many automakers have used crappy 2-piece lug nuts over the years, so they went above and beyond by going to 4. Also, the interior has a 2-tone faux leather seating, nice door place cards, and it says my postal Jeep didn't even have door cards, actual door locks, and the previously mentioned padded carpeting. It does have some quality issues. The paint's dull in some of the areas, and the rear weather stripping, which is connected to the hard plastic piece, seems to have been fitted and curved by simple grinding. And it says here, despite the issues, it could have been much cheaper. It's not just about the cool features like the LED light bar, backup camera, electric heater shown, rooftop fan, or MP3 player. It's about the mechanical bits. And it's got curved glass, the coil-over 3-link suspension, the rear differential, and almost entirely steel body that's covered entirely in paint, the projector beam lights, the aluminum wheels, and the 4-piece lug nuts. The Changli was dirt cheap at $1,200, but you wouldn't know it by looking at it. It's downright impressive. It really is pretty cool. I just wonder what the range of it is. Because if you've got a car and it only has, it only gets 50 miles to the charge or something, it's not really something I'd be even thinking about. But it is a pretty cool car for the price. So anyway, well, guess what? It's time to go. It's time to wrap it up, as they say. And I guess that's what I will be doing. I'll be posting the information on this car, and I'd be curious what everyone thinks about it, because I think it's a pretty interesting car. for the money. But hey, you never know. It could be the beginning of a series of cars that turn out to be pretty good for the pretty good for the money. So anyway, I will talk to you guys next week, and I thank you for listening in, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And I hope. What happened? My outro is gone. What is going on? I gotta find my outro. All right. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, and thank you for listening in, and au revoir.